All right, welcome to the Wave Function Podcast. We have an awesome number 2 episode with world record holder Fungi Flows. Just won the Harry Mack Freestyle competition in Philadelphia. Wildflower, absolutely killing it. Fungi was, nice enough to rap on one of my beats. I kind of think we should jump right into a freestyle for the listeners.
Let's get it.
I made this song like 7 years ago. It's got some X-Files vibes to it. It's called Abduction.
Let's do it.
Let's get abducted.
Yeah, that's your topic.
Yeah. Ooh, okay. Sounds good. Right on theme. All right. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Take me away, aliens. Whoa. Huh. Whoa. Did I just move through a wormhole? Whole sky full of UFOs. Maybe that's a shroom FO. I don't know. As above, so below. Everything's about to explode. Let's go. Stepped into a zone, feeling like Fetco. I was like, oh no, aliens coming down. I'm like, watch that. Hold on, I don't know if it's a false flag. Yo, I gotta be sure what's really happening now. More than one, I think I seen one covering the sun. I think that they bringing darkness. I was like, oh my God, what's my target? Trying to get down, trying to duck, trying to find cover. They be coming down, what am I gonna discover? I'm like, yo, I don't even know. Aliens be coming all around from the left and the right. Feeling like fight or flight right now. Should I stand my ground? I don't really know, but I'm feeling this weird ass vibe, and it's kind of like this old kind of sound. It's coming through right now, trying to figure out what is even really happening right now. Yo, they stepping outside of their spaceship, feeling like I'm breaking right out of the Matrix. I'm like, oh my God, there's a little man coming out the spacecraft. I'ma ask him, what is his plan? Bro, what are you trying to do? He looked me in the eye, said, find you. I was like, me? He said, yeah, you. I said, nah, bro, I really can't do that. I don't really want to leave Earth, I ain't ready. He said, well, you don't have a choice. And then he just took away my voice, and I started floating up, and I was like, whoa, bro. Oh.
Taking you up.
This anti-gravity seems to be some kind of tractor beam that's been attracted to me. It's pulling me up. Whoa, bro, this is honestly cool as
Thank you.
Yo, I'm inside of this place that doesn't seem like the inside of a spaceship. Is kind of more like a dream, because the spaceship was only like the size of some kind of small room, but now I'm inside of this giant space like a coliseum, rubbing my eyes low like you gotta see this. Now I don't understand what this is. It's gotta be like I'm some kind of prophecy, alien eyes all around just watching me. Yo, I be feeling like I be tripping on this odyssey. Yo, did I take so many shrooms? I don't really know. Am I still up in my room? I'm just hoping it's a nightmare. Yo, I'm quite scared. I seen like 5 little aliens right there. Yo, they looking at me now like little grays, but they kinda got some green skin. I'm like, yo, really, what the heck you mean? And it was like, yo, prepare your butt for the anal probe. I said, no, I do not consent. That is not the best. That is some kind of threat to my sanity. They said, I don't even care who you plan to be. We gon' figure out everything inside your memory. We gon' rewrite your destiny. We gon' put our DNA inside of you. We gon' program you to be the fungi dude that'll bring the revolution and evolve human consciousness. I'm like, yo, just watch this shit slow down, bro. I don't really know if I'm ready to go. They said, well, sorry, we already put the implant inside, and now you don't really have time, and we gon' put you back to Earth to decide if there's actually gonna be a rise of consciousness. I'm really like, yo, I'm watching this. I don't really know if this is all legit. I'm trying to figure it out, so much to process. I'm like, oh, this is really too much. Hold up, slow down. I don't wanna go down, but it's like, now it's really time to go. I hope you find yourself inside your soul. Let go. And
Yo, you, oh my God, bro.
Shit.
Legendary.
Is this it? And then I rubbed my eyes like I woke up from a dream, like everything just isn't what it seems.
All right, go ahead. I think I jumped in the next one.
All right.
Yo.
Damn.
Can so just, pause it. What's up, guys? I'll be quick. Really appreciate if you would like and subscribe. Don't have a lot of subscribers, so it'd really mean a lot. Put a lot into this episode. Plenty of freestyles to come. It's a really, really good episode. I would definitely see this one through. So let me just say, like, years ago when I was making music on my laptop, like that was like the one track like I really felt like I could stand behind and show somebody. And you just doing it justice on another level, bro. Like I feel like you just filled my heart, man. Oh my God. You like gave birth to a song I buried like way back when I like really wanted to get into music. And then, you know, I just kind of like my laptop started messing up and it kind of just crushed me a little bit. Couldn't transfer my Ableton files, you know. Damn, gave it life, dude.
Thank you, bro. Yeah, that's a powerful beat. There's no doubt. That definitely gave me the ability to transport to another dimension on that. You have a talent with the music production.
Yeah,
you really do. You really do.
In it though. You were imagining those aliens. I could see it in your face.
I looked over like, are they there right now? You know.
I mean, visualization is a powerful tool, and I feel like we all take a little bit more time to use that power, you know, because we all can create our own reality, whether it's a dream or whether it's, you know, visualizing something that we want to manifest. Like sometimes it's like close your eyes and go inside and have a little bit of fun, you know? Yeah.
Well, you got a gift, man. So you think right off the bat, I'd love to talk about this Harry Mack, you know, situation. You just won, you know, tell us all about it, what it is.
Well, first off, if you don't know Harry Mack is the best freestyle rapper on the earth, especially on topics. You know, like some people could argue that maybe somebody in the stretch of imagination is a better freestyle rapper. But when it comes to specifically taking topics, which is sort of a niche, which is my niche, Harry Mack is the best. And so you could go ahead and check him out. His videos all over the place. But he goes around and he takes random topics from people in the streets. And what he's sort of leveled up to doing recently is even like taking scenarios, which I think I'd like to experiment with later of like, okay, well, give me a main character and let's have a location and then let's have like a plot of like what's happening. And it's just basically like improvisational freestyle, you know, like people do all kind of stuff with improv and he freestyles raps and he is the best at it. And so considering that's what I do, you know, he's the only one that I feel like I can look up to, because I do have a bit of an ego about my freestyle rapping abilities. I mean, I've been rapping for over 20 years. I feel like I'm one of the best, but I don't feel like I am the best. I know there's better freestyle rappers, and I know that specifically with topics, Harry is better. So he's kind of like the only guy I can like really look up to.
Well, you know what? It's kind of like, I feel like with Dragon Ball Z, you know, there comes a point where Vegeta realizes like Goku is like the best, like it's like in the Buu saga, and he like aspires that, and like it pushes him further. And I feel like what I love is like, you know, I view you as the best personally, but like you know, having Harry Mack kind of like this aspiration, you're like, I feel like it drives you further. You know what I mean? Like Vegeta, Goku.
Yes.
You know?
100%.
And coming from you, I mean, dude, I've seen you freestyle it so many times, and I'm like, the people's reactions absolutely blown away. So like, yeah, tell us a little bit. Tell us about the build up to the competition. You know what the process was to even make it into it.
Yeah. So Harry put out a post. This is basically like submit your video. You know, it's gonna be like about a minute rap over top of a pre-selected beat. Actually, there's 2 beats. And this is basically like anybody had an opportunity to submit their raps. And so it's just like, okay, well, how am I going to stand out amongst all these other people that are submitting a video? Because, you know, there will be thousands of people.
Yeah.
And you submit for a specific city that he's going to be visiting while he's on his tour. So Philadelphia is the closest. So I know like, hey, I'm going to be submitting this video to rap in Philly. And how am I gonna to set myself apart? Well, knowing that I'm one of the few people that is like Harry and actually does this in the streets, because most people are just doing this behind their computer.
Right.
Then I'm like, okay, I gotta get some real people in a place where there's good energy and make some content. So we just happened to be at the crypto convention in ETH Denver, while this contest was put out, and it was a strict deadline of like, this has to be done before ETH Denver was over, So it's like, okay, well, naturally, we have to do a rap at this crypto convention, So very.
You went too, Faye?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah.
Crypto convention.
Yeah, well, it's better than other cons I've been to because they just hand you tons of free shit.
That's nice.
Abundant.
Okay.
Yeah. So we're at this nerd con, people are just, tech, crypto nerds. So the vibe,
say nerd very lovingly, by the way.
Yeah. And there's nothing against it. It's just
It's a compliment these days.
Yeah.
Yes.
These are very focused on the crypto world type people, maybe haven't been exposed to too much freestyle rap. So I'm walking around there in the big mushroom hat. And as you know, that's already causing a scene, what I mean? And on top of that, we have the fairy with probably her elf ears on, butterfly wings, whatever. And we're just these magical people in this group of just, a lot of suits and ties, So it's already like we're reality hacking just being there. But on top of that, I'm walking around like we did in Philly today, which we'll talk about. Just like, hey, give me some topics to rap about, And I would say we filmed probably about 5 different videos, roughly.
5 to 10, yeah.
Yeah, maybe a few more.
I like that you kind of put the setting because got people in suits and then you two walking around like that. The contrast.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Probably getting a lot of eyes and stuff. That's awesome, man.
Yeah, it's a trip, So we're breaking people out of the matrix just through our existence. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, so I'm like, give us some random words, and a lot of the stuff was very crypto specific.
Okay.
Naturally, and we were deep in the crypto realm, so we were totally nerds for a while. I would say 3-4 months, we were really in the trenches, playing the crypto game. It was a bull run. We're actually making a lot of money.
Nice.
And things were going well. So I learned a lot about crypto. The dude told me to rap about Eigenlayer, and I'm giving him raps about onions mixed with cryptos, and he's jaws on the floor, but nobody else would understand these bars.
Yeah.
So I had to pick a handful of the raps out of the many that we did. That's anyone can digest this, right? So we happened to find some dude who was representing this GOAT network, which is just something to stake your Bitcoin on. If I stake my Bitcoin, then I earn a percentage or whatever. It's very simple, very easy for anyone to understand. And I just liked the way that it came off. It wasn't too much energy. The rap I did was clean. I got the topics mycology, retro, the GOAT network, and something else. And I just did a real, just confident, not over the top, just hit on the punchline well, rapped about retro video games. And I told him about mycology and growing shrooms, and he loved it. And the beautiful thing about the video was people walking by stopped. They're like, this is worth watching.
Definitely.
And then so Faye, beautiful camera work as always, pans to the crowd, and we got all these people lined up, and they're like, wow. And it turns from just this conversation with me and this guy into his co-workers come over, then there's this crowd, and it just showed this authentic moment that happened where my energy and our co-creative energy together sort of drew this vortex, right? And now a lot of the other people that are submitting these videos just have a random word generator at their house or something. So I'm really I'm out there, and I was the message that I wanted to put to Harry was really I want to be seen sort of as your equal in this. Now, I don't believe that I'm better than you talent wise, but I want you to see that I'm out here doing what you do. And it's almost hopefully there can be mutual respect. But I just
is that where you heard about the competition?
Yeah, from Harry.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, when you first found out, from the guy at the crypto. No, I mean where did you find out about the actual? It was the post.
Yeah, so Harry posted, and I think he put it on his story, and he's just really hey guys, anybody with talent, sign up, because their intention as their team is find the best talent in every city.
Yeah.
Ideally, Harry has this cipher with somebody who's almost or as incredible as him. Hopefully.
So he brought in 3 finalists.
Yeah.
What was done to do that?
So they went through their own judging process to decide the top 3 finalists for every city, right? So that was behind the scenes. We all got an email. So when I got that email, I like screamed, like literally, like
Dude, I wish I was there.
I don't get excited. I said in my post after I got accepted that I feel like a man who's 600 years old on like his 10th lifetime. Like I feel I feel like nothing really like gets me excited anymore. Like, I mean, I don't know. I've tripped so many times. I've died so many times. Like I've lived so much that like nothing's like really like fucking amazing to me anymore. As sad as that sounds. But like when I got that email, because this is what I've wanted for so long, I screamed to the point where I thought my neighbors might think that there's a problem. Like I was excited, like legitimately.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
And like me knowing you, and just like you've talked about Harry Mack before, and I feel like, I feel like the universe ultimately gives people, what they want, but you got to really want it. And there's curveballs that come, and like I feel like you've built up all this XP.
Yeah.
You've been building all this XP out there, and it's like, to be considered like as an equal to Harry. So, let's fast forward to the competition, right? They only gave you 1 minute apiece.
Right.
And, you were chosen amongst the 3 to rap with Harry.
Yep.
Maybe speak just a little bit briefly on the 1 minute piece. And then I'd love to know more about like your emotions going into the rap with Harry and talk about that.
Yeah. So they gave us a beat that was pre-selected. Like, this is going to be the one you do the 60-second rap on. Don't go over, strict. Harry's whole team just very strict down the T. It's like, okay. So they said you can do written or freestyle. Of course, I knew that if I didn't flex my freestyle capabilities, that I would kick myself in the ass, because hey, like I write, the other dude writes. So what if some dude comes in and freestyles? It's half decent, but all the Harry Mack fans are like, well, I want to see the freestyle. Like I knew I had to freestyle.
Oh yeah.
So I created a template that was going to be a hybrid. So I created a call and response at the beginning, like when I say free, you say style. Right, as you heard. And I knew at that point I was going to just pray that people gave me enough props where I found enough stuff in the immediate vicinity to rap about. And I've done it enough where my confidence was high enough. And then I had a final punchline that was just going to hopefully end it all and hopefully seal the deal. But I was relying almost entirely on my freestyle.
Well, you let me in on the secret sauce a little early before posting. I feel blessed. So I've seen the videos, and it's very apparent that you versus the other candidates, you were pointing things out in the crowd. So like one of the guy had like an aluminum can up. You're like pointing at that, and then like the chandelier, things like this. So I feel like you flex that. It was very like I think the other 2 were like clearly 100% written. The guy, I don't know.
I think the last guy was freeing.
The last guy was freestyling, but there was also more elements of pre-planned things. Like he probably had the Eagles line pre-planned.
Yeah.
You would know more than me, bro.
Yeah, no, the last guy did freestyle, but I think like he had some other pre-meds that he utilized, and there wasn't a lot of like what's happened in the moment. There was more of just like freestyle. We do rapper stuff like, I'm spitting it, ripping it, whatever. I'm freestyling. My name is whatever. Like as rappers, that's our go-to. That's our autopilot.
Yeah.
I knew the way that I was going to get an edge on the competition was by calling out things that people had a connection to. Like the one dude in the front row had a yeet shirt. Yeah. And it's some wrestling term that means to throw something. So I was like,
it actually came from a meme where there was a woman in like a school, and she had like an empty water bottle or something, and she just yelled yeet and just chucked it like super far down the hallway. So that's where yeet came from.
So I learned that.
Like iconic, like skirt these days, like skirt.
So I didn't even know, but I was informed right before, like literally a minute before I got on stage. These people told me what it meant. So I'm like, okay, fine. I'll try to incorporate that. So I came up with a bar like, MCs can't compete. They step up to me and get thrown like yeet, it's like
damn.
So like everything was just like in the here and now, and I wanted to make sure that was well known. So the first guy, he wrote his bar, I freestyled, and then the third guy was mostly freestyling, but he didn't use a lot of what was going on. So I think that's sort of where I took the edge. Simultaneously, it's terrifying to rap in front of 1,000 people. Like even for me, I've done it multiple times. It's scary. These other two guys, that's probably the biggest crowd they've ever been in front of, you know. So I think that just like my level of experience and also just crowd control. It's like I knew by doing a crowd response in the beginning was going to get the people with me. And I figured, I was betting that they wouldn't use that element. Because in hip hop, what I've learned, and it took me a very long time to learn this, is that it's all about reciprocal energy. It's all about like, if you're able to get the crowd going to give you something so you can give something back. So I knew if I can get them to say something, if I can get them to say anything, even if I can get them to put their hands up, that is probably in the bag for me. And so I use that element.
But the thing is, they both also did that. Like the first guy did the hey ya, hey ya, and he got the whole crowd to sing that. That made me nervous. And then the last guy did like the Eagles chant, and everyone was all about it.
Yeah, right.
So everybody got the crowd participating, and when everyone voted, like the noise for the like cheer for who's the best was crazy. Like I could not tell who won, and I was like about shitting myself. Like, please, dear God, pick him.
But I think what gave me the advantage is I used it first. They waited to the end to get the crowd in it. I used that as my very first thing. But like Faye said, absolutely right. When the vote came, because the vote for whoever is going to win to rap on stage with Harry Mack, that's what this whole finalist competition is. The winner gets to rap on stage for 3 minutes with Harry Mack, right? So the winner was decided by a vote of the crowd noise. And it was an insane moment when the votes came in because
I mean, your heart must have been
being on stage,
pounding, dude.
Because like the whole crowd erupted for the first guy, LB, to the point of like I didn't think people could get louder. I really didn't, because it felt like everybody yelled. It was insane. And then when he said who wants to for Fungi flows, like it was loud, but there was almost like
I tore my vocal cords.
she was screaming.
Yo, that's dope.
It was like a deep, thunderous roar. And it was like, it was incredibly loud, but like, did it feel louder than the first dude? And then when they voted for the third dude, he had like 10 people in a squad coming. It was still like, it was freaking loud. And I'm like looking over at Khan, who's going to judge this. And I'm like, bro, like that was deafening for everybody. Like, how are you going to judge this? And somehow he felt like I took the edge, and that was it.
Well, you know, in the video, right, you win the edge, and what was dope is you had to play like a little intro video. So you know, you're getting the rap with Harry Mack on stage, your idol, right? And the intro video, you mentioned like the world record 50-hour freestyle.
Yep.
And I you know, you showed me the video. I'm looking at Harry's face, and he's just like the amazement, man. He's like awestruck at that. Like, bro, like in that moment, it was like he's looking up to you, dude. I could see the like, and it was like he was like, "Yo, did you really do that?" Like,
it's such an honor to have you here, man. You really freestyle for 50 hours?
You guys started like feeding off each other, man. It was like you impressed the shit out of him. He was like, "Wow, dude, damn."
Yeah,
You know?
yeah. I received that. I guess I look so highly up to Mac that like it's hard for me to see vice versa. So I'm grateful the reflection, because somebody else said that too. It's just hard for me to see that because I'm just so awestruck being in his presence, and I see him as like, you know, such like a godly figure in that like maybe I have a blind spot to him seeing me as, you know, an equal or higher. But I could tell like he was like, wow, like yeah, that's really something. And I think actually, come to think about it, he might have mentioned it backstage too. So
tell me about like the electricity of rapping with him, because I'm telling you, bro, like when I watched the video, so the 1 minute raps you guys each did to make it to, you know, rap with Harry. I gotta be real with you, man. It didn't even compare to your rap with Harry, bro. Like shit popped off on such a level. I feel like the universe really allowed you to deliver on like, you know, what you could do with him and like being his equal on stage. And like you guys just ripped it, dude. I think he was blown away. And then, you know, he went double time, you know, talk to me about that.
Yeah. I mean, absolutely. I gave myself a rating of, I gave myself a 5 out of 10 on the competition. Oh, yeah. And then I gave myself an 8 out of 10 with Harry, which could arguably, I might even pat myself on the back and give
I saw
a 9.
a 10 out of 10, bro. Like
it
was freaking electric, dude. And I think that, you know, when you put that video out, people are going to be like, damn, dude, the way you guys were feeding off each other energy. And you guys went 4-bar. Tell me about that.
Yeah,
so
that's,
explain.
That's a traditional sort of cipher element as you go 4x4 is what they call it. So he's going to start it. I already knew that. And I knew that in my very first 4-bar that I had the floor and there was no conversation started because he's done the same thing for every competition so far. It's just like so-and-so's coming up, make some noise. He's going to hype, but there's no conversation started. So I know it was on me to start. So I had this whole premeditated bar based upon his drum set performance that I was going to say, when we get out here and rap, everybody's saying this hot. We freestyle and we're coming off the tip top. Shout to you playing the drums. It makes sense because you're a symbol of real hip hop.
We about to take it there when we rocking at these shows. Philly, make some noise for Fungi.
Every time Harry's rapping, they say this high. We got to go ahead and come about the tip top.
Yeah.
You understand what's happening right now? Makes sense because you a symbol of real hip hop.
Ooh,
Right.
with a double entendre?
Right. So I was gonna come off double entendre and just start it by slaying.
Yeah.
My mistake. So I was trying to explain this to Faye earlier that within that, we'll call it 5 seconds for me to say that bar, I swear to God, my mind remembered and forgot the bars like 7 times. And I'm not even joking. Like time was warped.
Yeah,
And
I
everything
bet,
was
bro.
so weird. Everything went so fast and so slow at the same time. Like it was paradoxical. But so like in
Dude,
that
I can't even imagine because like, you know, seeing how much this meant to you
Yeah.
to be in that space. When you say like time speeding up and slowing down, it's not, I believe you, dude. I believe you, but
trippy.
but you got the bar across.
No, I didn't. I didn't mention drums, right? So it didn't.
okay.
It didn't fully land, and I felt that it was like people were like, "Okay, that was clean," but like it didn't fully land. And then at that moment, when I realized I didn't land it, then I was like, "Okay, my next bar, I have to step up." So now I listen because I knew the conversation began, right?
Yeah.
So he said something, and I'm trying to catch any word I can in what he's saying next, and he's rapping fast. You know, he's like he's gonna show why he's the best. And I caught the word equal, and so okay, let me flip that into something about mathematics because So I took his equal and I said something about our Formula One. And then I set up a punchline about me being an engineer and I'm good at mathematics.
Yeah.
And of course, he using same as me, is you use everything he can, took Formula One, switched it into NASCAR.
Yeah, we assemble a real crowd. Whenever I be spitting, I'm about to do your proud. Taking flight like the Eagles, my flow is lethal. I'm locked in with the people. When they be coming the bars up top, we got no equal. What?
These other rappers be the corniest ones. You say equal. I'm thinking that our Formula One.
Hey.
You know what rap I got a fashion. I'm an engineer. I'm really good with mathematics.
Yeah, Formula One, dog. I came to blast bars. You got me thinking racing around these tracks like NASCAR.
Yeah.
You know, and so we're going back and forth like how, you know, it's not really like we're competing with each other to like one up each other. It's more of like how clever can we get for the audience, you know? That's really what we're co-creating. And so like, you know, I'm doing everything I can to like get something from him so I can give an incredible punch. So he went Formula One, NASCAR, and then we're talking about this dude in the front, and we just made this guy's day because he's got this race jacket on, and like we just spent like 2 bars rapping about him, and I'm like, you know what, let's take it another level. And I said something about this dude's dressed to impress, and this guy's on cloud 9, all his friends are, so I'm like, we're generating this energy in the crowd. I can feel it growing, you know, right out of the center of the front row. And then we took it from like NASCAR and the guy in the front row, and then I hit some kind of a punchline, and then all of a sudden it was like we went into this double time trade-off, and like I don't know what sparked it, but like I knew going in I wanted to show a level of experience by switching styles.
You started the double time.
Yeah, so I did. I was
okay.
like,
Was it electric, Faye? Like, I mean, you're watching this and you're like, yo, he's delivering like.
I was just super geeked, and then I was watching his face being super geeked.
Yeah.
And it was I don't know, it was just beautiful.
and I just knew like I knew there was like I needed at least one double time exchange with Harry because I knew that he's gone there. And like the other ones that I seen from the other cities is like he did it, but nobody else could do it with them. So I'm like, we have to do. So I got in there, just something real simple. Like I'm rapping off the top of the like just some generic, right? But it sounded pretty good. I landed pretty well.
You know what? I feel like his is a little similar, and you guys got like for the audience, like you guys got in like it was one of those moments like before the double time, you guys are like kind of talking to the crowd a bit, like moving around, you know, flowing. But like the double entendre, it was like you guys linked up face to face. And you were
Stared
just,
into each other's souls.
I was like, oh, dude, watching the video, I was like, oh my, like they're going at it right now. Like that was some next level, bro.
Yeah,
Parker
so I
double timed, and then Harry triple timed his double time.
you know what? I don't even know what time it was, if it's double or quadruple, because Harry is.
Well, time was dilating for
right.
you in opposite directions. So.
Because he's so good and so clean with it, and he enunciates so incredibly perfectly that it's just like it almost seems faster just because of his incredible level of enunciation. So I go double, which seems like 1.5 speed compared to him, which is like at a solid 2.
And that's just because you don't feel like you're enunciating as much?
It's,
or what do you,
I think
what do
it's
you mean?
it's really because like I don't hit the consistency at the level he does. So if we ran back the footage, say we plopped it in the video now.
I had to shout my dude out rocking the racing jacket.
You rocking the jacket, you really looking fresh. Yeah, my homies in the front row, dressed to impress. Yeah, you know what's up, I gotta shift it up the gear. When we ripping it off the dome, you know that we coming up in here. Let's
We do it right up at the top of the mental, the flow is essential. No pin, no pencil, not chasing, no stencil. We doing it. If you be crush dudes, every brother shoving like a mushroom. Every really rocking up the shoulders, I got the tripping. From every 4 bars, he's drifting.
Put him on the double time, off the top of the dome, we rocking the flow. Here we go, the bang here. Baby, yeah, you already know. I'm really rapping with the go, becoming a finish. They giving you flowers from east to west.
Let's go. Yo.
Okay.
Right. Now you just saw, or maybe you didn't, Harry just like, his breath control is also so immaculate that like he can stream it and he doesn't really need to stop so much. It's like rather than me, it's like
Like circle breathing on a didgeridoo. You know?
Exactly. He's got the circular breathing down. And so he crushes 4 straight bars of just the most absolutely masterful double time. And when I run it back, I can hear everything made so much sense. He's like, and I'm rapping here with a mushroom and just everything. And I was like, oh. And in that moment, I was just purely geeked. Like if you look back in my face, I'm like,
yeah, man.
Like, wow. And then so I tried to come back. But I knew I wanted to do a bar about his hat because I had that premeditated. So I knew I had to speed up and I had to slow back down. So he had a hat that said East West and a big rose in the middle.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, I got to do something about people are giving you flowers from east to west, like the coast to coast, like you know, people giving you flowers, respect, right? So like I did, and then I'm like, and he's coming off fresh and they're giving you your flowers from east to west. And he took that. And then I almost saw this coming because in another video he mentioned on someone's beard, and I knew he was going to come and he was going to say something about me.
Yeah.
I was
told
expecting
you that
mushroom
too. I was
hat.
like, he's definitely going to comment on your beard too.
Because I knew he wanted this to be as much of a conversation as me, and I know what he does to bring the most out of who he's with because he wants to make the best content.
Yeah.
It's a show that
he wants to relate it to the person because that's what really makes bars hype. It's like.
Yeah, and his team they're invested in making the most incredible show possible. So he's going to do everything he can to get everything out of me. And I knew he would. So he comes up to me and he hits me with the most immaculate 4-bar, which I know was completely improvised. And he's so good at setting up a 3 triple Maltese in order to hit the 4. So he's whatever rhymes with like, how'd you grow your beard? And then like 1, 2, 3, and then nails it. And then he says something to me about like how you get your beard to grow the way it does. And so it was so perfect because the entire time for the finalist competition, I wanted to use this bar about Dumblespore. Because sometimes I pull that out and people love it.
Yeah.
You know, because all the time when I'm rapping, like Harry Potter comes up, magical stuff comes up, all this kind of stuff. So I had this pre-med ready. And when he asked me about my beard, I was like, here we go. Here's the opportunity. It was like my eyes lit up. And so I said something about like, well,
that was the final.
No, we're not there yet. So it's something that like, it's important that you put in the spores. And then I was like, here we go. And then I like stood up like on the amp to like really like deliver this bar. And I was like, I got extra punches if you want some more. I'm a mushroom wizard. Call me Dumblespore.
I speak clear as raps. All throughout the planet, they be hearing that. Yo, when it comes to bars, we for fungi. How can I grow a beard like that?
Well, you grow a beard like that. What's important is that you gotta go and really put the spores in. Because you're really gonna grow it. If they want some more, I'm a mushroom wizard. Call me double spore.
Yeah, y'all know that this man's a boss.
People just and I knew like that punch fully connected, and
Yeah,
I was like,
man.
at this point, I'm like, we got them, right? And so he felt it, and he took it to I don't really remember exactly which direction, because I knew that I only had like 1 4-bar left. I could feel we're getting towards the end, and I had one more thing that I sort of premeditated, because before there was this whole giant scenario about fighting with dragons, and it
Yeah.
was just such a big part of the show.
Yeah.
I knew if I alluded to that the whole audience would go absolutely insane, right? Because it's about like what the hell's happening right now. You know, it's not something I could have wrote before.
Yeah.
So I premeditated this bar standing there in the audience listening to this dragon thing, right? And so I don't know exactly what he said, because I was using his 4 bars to formulate. It was the first time I kind of fell off the conversation, and I'm like, this is my last chance. I need to end this solid. So I ended with my final bar was basically like, I just want to tell you that I love you. You're helping all of my dreams to come true. Bro, you must be tripping right now. You went from fighting with a dragon to rapping with a mushroom.
Speaking of wizards, I'm rolling in like dog. Yeah, they following us on our path. We both some wizards, cause we building here with the staff.
Hey, yo, I wanna tell you that I love you. And you making all of my dreams come true. Bro, you must be tripping right now. You had to fight with a dragon, now you're rapping with a mushroom. I must be off.
Ooh.
And then he just fully, once again,
Yeah.
crowd goes crazy. He fully gets the energy, you know, and then he says something like, yeah, bro, like, I'm really tripping right now, and I ain't even on drugs or whatever, and he just ended it like so perfectly, and boom, that was it.
Drugs. Every time we spit, we show the fans lots of love. Yeah, y'all know we out here arriving. Make some noise for Mac and Fungi, cause we live.
For the greatest of all time, off the top of the dome, Harry Mack!
Damn, man.
Yep. And I could talk about it forever, but that's the Reader's Digest.
Well, one thing that came across my mind a little bit ago is like, I feel like your excitement in the double entendre and like, or the double time, and you're very critical, I think. And then, but I think, and you know, Mac's team, you could totally make this happen. Like, I think if you really like sat down with Mac and you just let your nerves calm a little bit, you be hitting like consistently with them. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I think like for you to deliver on being that excited that's impressive. What's so impressive is like this meant so much to you and you delivered. That's like such a level of mental control. It like blows my mind. Whereas like I'm saying, if you were given the opportunity to like sit down, get lunch with them, calm your nerves, you're like, yo, this guy's my idol, and then spit. You know what I mean? Like hitting all the pronunciation, like all these things. Like again, Mac's team make it happen. I'm telling you, like I've seen this man deliver, like out in public, just mind blowing people. And I feel like Mac would just, you know, the energy you give off, like both you guys, hyper positive.
Thank you.
What's your
fam.
thoughts on
Yeah,
that?
no, like I know that I'm good with the double time when I'm chill. Like we go into between hour 2 and 3 of our live streams, I just hit this pocket where I'm just like I can do it, and it is like a focus, calm, like center, and that's nearly impossible to reproduce on stage because you got all this energy from the crowd. You're physically moving, so your heart rate's up. You have to.
You were
take
all
more
over
breath.
your stage presence. I'm telling you, you all over the stage, like working everybody. Like it's just like professional, bro.
Thank you.
It was awesome, man.
I mean, I learned from some of the greatest. Like KRS-One is one of the most inspirational, just in terms of stage presence, and obviously Harry covers the stage well too. And when you hit your jump like on the beat too, there's something magic about that. And I'm just studying all these elements, and I just knew like if I really you know, puff up and make my presence known on a punchline. I've seen a lot of MCs use that tactic, and of course covering the whole stage and going back and forth. And when the conversations with me and Harry, it's like it's almost like do-si-do. It's like a martial arts. Like I'm stepping back,
like double scotch.
Yeah,
You know, like,
yeah.
When do I jump in? You know, like
yeah. And so I'm moving in on him. I'm moving back with him. We're almost in this tango together. And so, you know, it's just dance, and it's a beautiful thing. And yeah.
Well, yeah, I want everyone to go to Fungi's page, check out the content, you know. Absolutely, we're seeing it was straight up lit. But I'd like to, you know, we're at 38-minute mark.
Yeah.
If you're cool with it, maybe jump into another freestyle, like pace them out.
Should we go into your other beat, or should I pull up one of the other ones I got?
I mean, bro, I don't know, dude. Like, you killed my first beat. Like, I would like to do my second beat, man.
Do it.
Okay.
You know,
Do the
but
second
if you like, it's up to you, dog.
Do it.
All right, cool. Let's see. Let's find that. Where was that at again? You sent me that link. Yeah, okay. All right, here we go.
I feel like the intro is kind of like super vibey, and then just
I love it. I invite everyone to take a deep breath and just be on this journey. It's a beautiful beat.
goose.
Do we have a topic or no?
Oh, you wanted? Yeah, that'd be cool.
Should we just keep throwing them at you?
Sure.
Let's talk about robots.
Aloe vera.
Ooh, okay.
Robots, aloe vera.
Window pane.
Didgeridoo.
Let's get it. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, hit me in the spot one time. Gotta represent, really showing why I'm fungi. Tapping in the organic flows. I ain't got digital tunes. Right now, I'ma hit you with the didgeridoo. Circular breathing, I'm about to go and bring it to you. Let's go. Hit you with the beatbox right out of the center right now. Tap into the primordial indigenous flow. Y'all gon' remember right now. Been through the pain like a window. Had to transmute the flow and alchemize. Yeah, you know what this is, boy. Had to go in, swear that it's about my time to do it. Take care, bruh. Had some sunburn, I hit with aloe vera. Gotta make sure I tap into the plants. Homies out here, they really finna champ. For the guy, yeah, you know, I just believe, dude, that I had this like a window it was see-through. Now I know I had to leap through the shit. Open it up, cause I believe I can spit at a higher level, reaching my precipice. I know I might not be the best at this, but I'ma bless this ish and really make sure I'm giving y'all the evidence. Feeling like a flowbot, robot, about to go off, slow it right down, then just speed it up. Every time that I go off, no Will Smith, but I feel like I robot.
Spotlight.
When I rock mics, it gon' put me right up in the spotlight. Limelight, but no lemon with it though. It gets citrus when I'm spitting up the flow. Alkalize the game like a detox. I don't need a beatbox, homie, about to hit it in the sweet spot. I be all up in the light, keep it shining. I was like, turn it down, brother, this is blinding. Yeah, let's go. Wow.
Thank you, man.
Do an extra one of those for your beat, please, because that's a
bro.
fire beat. Fire beat.
Thank you, dude. I appreciate that. Wow.
Yep.
Yeah.
Again, it's like it's like to feel like the beat and just like it's like transformative, dude. You know, getting some vocals on it. Yes. Yeah, thank you so much for that, bro.
Bro, I feel like, you know, we started our sort of like collaborative artistic relationship with a podcast, and I feel like it's evolving into, like you were talking about earlier, you would love to hear somebody rapping over one of your beats like a festival or like on a big stage. And I feel like 100,000 people, you know, times literally 100 from the Harry Mack show out in this giant field like Woodstock, one of your beats banging on the biggest sound system in the world. I'm up there as one of the greatest MCs on earth, just yeah, right.
Yo, honestly, like what, like, yeah, man, like, yeah, that.
Word. Cool.
So, I mean, let's talk about today. I mean, you know, dude, like you come over Pittsburgh, coming to Philly, bro, and like just like feeling your energy, having you in my presence, man. Like I want to have you in my space. And then we're like, yeah, let's go hit up Philly. You know, I kind of chaperoned you around to some kind of epic spots and mix it up, you know, find some people. Tell me about like the experience.
Well, I loved it. Yeah, so like I haven't been in Philly too often. I think second or third time, and the other times I came, I feel like they were like quick and for like non, you know, rap related stuff. I feel like honestly, I feel like in a lot of ways it was sort of my introduction to Philly for real. So first of all, thank you for being our guide. You know, as the fun guy, I usually guide people. But my man, yeah, rocking the Philly cap and all.
Yeah, bro.
So
It's a great city.
you know, so we roll up on like this town hall or whatever, and then like there's like this portal and this love park, and we go downtown and it's like, you know, people and the bars, and like, you know, I really feel like I got exposed to Philly being right there in the streets, like literally from the experiences from stepping over homeless people to having racist comments thrown at me like on the dirtier side to like having intellectual conversations with people and like really talking about like, you know, past traumas and like
And the
like there
OGs
was
that loved you.
Yeah, like we were all over the place with positive.
Yeah, we
negative,
really
neutral
were, and
experiences. Yeah,
Philly's full spectrum.
yeah,
And you got to understand, like, this city is blunt, you know? You know, when you approach someone like, hey, you want to hear me rap? And it's like, it's kind of interesting that, you know, with some people, the white rapper kind of thing still is like a little bit of a thing, interestingly enough. But I will say, anyone that gives you the opportunity, it's like the disbelief drops away within
2 bars.
2 bars. Yeah, I was gonna put it in seconds. I was gonna say like 10, 15 seconds or something. Like once you get like 2 rhymes or like, you know, like something really witty, and you're like dropping their guard. And that's the weird thing is like dropping their guard, because you go out to people in public and, you know, in Philly, like there's some freestylists in Philly, but it's kind of like, all right, what's this guy? You know what I mean? Like they see the mushroom, they see the outfit. I mean, dude, you got countless compliments. Like you looking fly, dog.
Yeah, like people aren't used to being approached anymore. I think that's kind of it. Like they're so used to just being in their little bubble doing their thing that if a random stranger like is like, "Hey," they're like, "Oh my god, what? Why?" So
What do you want to sell me?
Yeah, yeah. I think a lot of people have that protective mechanism, you know, but simultaneously, a lot of people are also open, especially when there might be a drink involved, you know. But the first people we came up to were incredible vibes right there at the City Hall.
the 4 years.
Yeah, so we're right in front of City, set the stage. We're in front of City Hall, and, you know, we're walking around, and I really wanted something iconic. I'm like, yo, if we get some footage in front of City Hall, like, you don't even need to label that Philly. Like, people would just know. And, like, there were, like, 4 younger adults, like, taking pictures and stuff. And we could see, like, oh, they would love this. And it was masterful, dude. They were mind blown. The one guy had his camera out. I mean,
He was
yo,
in it.
is he gonna send you that footage? I hope he like
he
dude.
better.
Is he gonna tag you? Like you gave? I hope you gave him the at, because
sure
he.
did.
Oh, he followed, yeah.
Yo, he was so in it. I was like, wow. And Faye, yo, it's funny because like I was recording horizontal, Faye's recording like vertical, and like Faye's putting in the like footwork, bro. She's like,
I get down. I'm like, I do slop squats and shit. Like I'm in it.
she's like so dynamic. I mean, you're so dynamic, and I feel like she has to match that. And like like, you know,
It's so fun.
it was so sick, man. So like right off the bat, I was relieved. I'm like, all right, I like super dope freestyle right in front of City Hall. I'm like, if anything, you know, it's like surfing. Like you could get your ass whooped all day. One good weight, I'm good. That's what we can talk about. So like, I'm like weight off my shoulder. That's how I felt, man. I was like, yeah, I got that weight out. Like we got a really awesome rap, and we move on. And it kind of like, we got into like more of like a drunken kind of area. You know what I mean? Like what some people kind of like think is like the, you know, the Philly vibe. Like if you like for people that maybe like don't mess with Philly as much.
Well, it was the neighborhood, right?
That was part of it.
That was part of it. Yeah. You know, like we were
I
like
love that.
heading that direction in Center City, and you know, too many people were like on a mission to the next bar.
Sure.
Like, yeah, we're going somewhere. We didn't have the best success, like finding some like, you know, really open like people that are just willing to stop. Because again, man, like all those people missed out.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, like I'm watching all these people walk by, and they're like, it's like opportunities fly by people on a daily basis, and they're like, oh, nothing's happening for me, and like opportunities are like, and that's when I see you walking around, and you're literally sending out a beacon with the mushroom hat. You know what I mean? And like the red jumpsuit. So like when you ask people like, yo, can I freestyle for you? Like something's different here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Maybe give them a moment, and like people are too like defensive, or like, oh, I got to get my next drink, and we're you know.
That's how it usually is.
Or they're like, oh, well, you look like you're gonna be lame. It's like, just give them a freaking second, people.
Sure. Yeah. I think naturally, well, when you were saying like a good amount of people freestyle in Philly, and it seems like from the first people we talked to, like that was the, or no, it was that couple.
Yeah, the
that
second
we stopped,
people we
and
talked
they were
to.
like, well, there's a lot of people that freestyle here, and the vibe that guy gave me immediately was
So
just like,
apprehensive.
Was just like so.
He's like, I don't want to hear this trash.
It felt like in his daily life, like multiple rappers approach him. Like he was so jaded, like, you know, oh, most freestyle rappers are trash or whatever. And he's like, no, I don't want to hear you. And then his girl did. And then it was like, well, your girl wants to hear it. Are you sure you don't? And he's like, sure, I'll give you a chance. Like, you know,
Yeah.
Come out of it, he's like,
Yeah.
all right, that was actually quite legit.
Nah,
Thanks.
he said more than that. He was like, that was actually really something, man. He was like, because you, it's interesting. And this is what's so great about you, dude, is like, you know, for the audience, like Fungi will like, you know, approach people like Faye and Parker, and they'll, you'll be like, hey man, you mind if I like record or whatever? And like, this guy's, you know, he really wasn't about it, super respectful, but you're like, yo, like I'll freestyle for you anyways. It's not like at that moment, it's not even about the content.
Yeah.
It's like, yo, you're just like here to practice. You're here to like spread some positivity.
Yeah.
And he was still a little apprehensive, but I feel like you open hearts, dude, because like halfway through, there's like, I don't know if it's like shame, but it's more just like, damn, I almost didn't give this guy a chance. Like it hits him at like halfway.
Yeah. So I think there was that vibe shift.
They also get some regret if they like haven't filmed it. They're like, fuck, I should have filmed that.
This was the coolest thing that happened to me all month. And yo, they'll be checking your like, damn, you know, he could have been me that night.
Yeah.
One of the things I want to emphasize, and why I declined earlier of you saying, well, just start rapping, is because I don't want this to like put me in a box and limit me. But like, I do feel like as a projector of my human design, that like I'm activated by sort of invitations per se. And whenever I have a container, like that's by far when I deliver my best material. But also like, I feel like sometimes there's a blockage to me just like to just start rapping. Like in that moment, I could have pressed the play button, and these random people that have no attention on me walking by, I could have tried to get them to give me attention. But it's like in that moment, I feel like I'm desperately pulling or like trying to like create this thing where like if I just ask consent and like people agree, then there's this powerful container of like an energy exchange that's created, which can grow, which you saw with the three brothers came up. And I asked, and I got the topics from them, right? Then what you saw happen from that container was the chick with the hair like you came up, the bro that she was with came up.
Can
the
I
other
set the
guy
stage
came
for
up.
this one?
Please. Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry to interrupt you,
No,
but like
go ahead.
I gotta set the stage.
Yeah,
this
it's a good one.
guys. You
Maybe we could link it to.
We're gonna post that one for sure. That one was
this
fire.
rap was so extraordinary. So we had some like three bulls rolled up, older guys, like probably late 50s, 60s.
Early 50s.
Yeah, probably.
Okay, so yeah, they're in their 50s, right? And the one guy was like very open to it, and the three homies kind of, you know, paused and real Philly dudes, right? straight up, and what the topics were 30-year friendship.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you know what? Here's the thing. The rap was centered around that.
It was mostly that.
Yeah, and like you literally like summated like their friendship in the rap and everything, and you had this rhyme about like even though you're like not melanated or something. Like, do you remember that bar?
Yeah.
Say that bar, bro.
It says something about like because I saw he had on the colors, like the African colors on his necklace or whatever. Like he was really repping, and so it says, I'm glad I can do a rap for you. Tapped into my roots, because Roots is a Philly group, so I wanted to throw that in there and double entendre that. So I said something like tapped into Roots, kind of like Africa, and then I said something like I came to get it in, even if I'm lacking melanin. And I said something like you could feel it like deep down in my skeleton that I'm crushing this like gelatin or something like that. You know?
And like I just saw like the one guy was like kind of stern, but feeling you, and then like the head nods, man, like just the look of approval. And by the time you were done, they were like, absolutely,
They
like
they
you're
dapped
big
him like 30 times each.
Yeah, what's this? I never got that. They all did that.
They were very excited.
Yeah, bring
Not
it in,
just
bring
one
it in.
high five.
It was like a
like 15 high
bro.
fives.
Yo, this was
I can barely do it.
guys, everyone. I'm telling you, like this.
It's like
this was the
clapping together.
biggest stamp of approval ever from these three gentlemen. They were like, yo, swearing you in, like, yo, dude.
Swear me into
You know
the
what
group.
I mean? You got like initiated, dude. And you know, one thing they said to you, man, is like, they're like, yeah, man, I feel like, you know, you're gonna blow up, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you mentioned this comment to me earlier, and maybe we can just touch on this right now, where like you feel like there was so much build up to this Harry Mack show. Like you were putting out hours of content of just freestyling. By the way, like I listened to a good bit of that and it was like so immaculate. But like you mentioned, you know, accomplishing this goal, and there's like a before after. Tell me about that.
I mean, it's like everything came up to this. It was just like, I mean, first of all, back to Rick, who we talked about in the previous podcast, our manager, rest in peace, who passed away. Like, I mean, so much of what we did was for Harry. Like, we literally went to Venice Beach to hopefully run into Harry. Like, we took an entire trip to California to hopefully run into this dude. And like, we decided, and we decided that if we,
You did not tell me that, bro.
yeah, so there's some missing links that will be filled in here. But like, we had our cameraman Tyler, and we went with Rick, and like us three went there, and we decided that if we don't see Harry, we're just gonna do what Harry does, right?
Yeah.
And so if you watch the 20-second clip back to introduce me for Harry, you'll see a very fast clip of me rapping for people in Venice Beach.
Yeah.
Because one of my lines was, I've been down with Max since Venice Beach One Blue, which was his first viral one. So rapping for the GOAT is a dream come true. So like, we literally took an entire trip to freaking California for a week to hopefully find Harry, because like after Harry's video blew, like that was it. Like there was no topic freestyle anything before that. Like that changed the entire game. Before that, it was like Supernatural and like whoever the hell else like you might have heard try to freestyle on the Wake Up show. Like there wasn't, like, freestyle rapping wasn't as popular.
Yeah.
You know?
And it's like, you know, I feel like you're like could explode any moment, man. Like you have a great following, but like you know, deep down, I'm just like Harry's taking this to another level.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? As far as like how he monetizes it and things like that. And I'm just like, you know, you're spitting these rhymes. They're like absolutely fantastic. And I feel like your career is growing. Like, is there like you ever feel like you reached maybe like a breaking point as far as like, this was such a major milestone and now you can like a weight is lifted off you?
100%. That was a huge weight, because I knew that so much was riding on that if I didn't win that finalist competition, that a part of me would have been crushed. I might have been thinking like, am I sabotaging myself? Is the universe here to sabotage me? Like, is this it for me? Like, I knew I could have gone down a dark path if I didn't win that. Like, I knew so much was riding on that. Like, I needed to secure that victory. And, you know, I would have thought back to like, man, I shouldn't have like been playing this video game at night, or I shouldn't have watched that movie. Like I would have beat myself up. It's because like, I mean, I started rapping at the same time or before Harry, right? And I was taking topics before anybody even knew what topics were. Like, I mean, you seen the sign on my 20-second video too. Like, I train with my sign, I rap, you pick a topic. Like, outside of Times Square, MTV came me down, put me on the show Ridiculousness, gave me a mermaid to rap about, pouring water on her. Like I've been doing this since I was like 18 or 19. I went on the streets of my first topic sign, South Side on Carson Street, and would just walk up and down with my roommate, who was my security guard, make out like $100 a night, just rapping on topics. And like, that was it. And then once I gave up everything and started my spiritual journey and literally sold all my possessions besides just enough to fit in my car, and I moved out, then I started just traveling around city to city with that sign. Like, that was how I had gas money to go to the next place. That's how I had the money to have a sandwich. Like, that was my life. And then everything changed when I had my child. And of course, like, getting the engineering degree took some time too. So what I tell a lot of people is like, Harry and I are sort of the same person, except when I took 5 years to get an engineering degree and took 4 years to raise a child, Harry just nonstop rapped. Omegle on the chat, taking topics in the street, taking topics, didn't stop, didn't have like these major things in his life. And what he studied was drumming. So like everything he did was like complete alignment to be like the freaking master as quickly as possible. And
What do
just
you
stayed on
mean
that path.
he studied drumming?
Like, he went to school for music. Like,
oh, okay.
I don't know all the details, but like he went to school, I think, for drumming to some degree. Go ahead.
And he was, well, I just want to share, like, from his show that we found this out, and it was so synchronistic and freaking awesome. Like, I geeked so hard, and the crowd like turned and looked at me because I was like spazzing. But apparently when he was just in school in his music class, they brought in a bongo situation, and they had like a phrase, which is, I don't know what it was, but like, I love drumming very much or whatever. And so the last beat that they played was mush, right? And so like the teacher wasn't looking at anyone, he was just trying to judge who's the best. And so then when Harry went up and he did it, he was like, okay, whoever that is, you're the mush man. And so on the screen, they put mush man, like giant. And I was
Crazy.
like,
Huge.
the mush man and the mushroom,
So
Yeah,
in my
man.
perspective, I walk out of the bathroom. I'm in the very, very back of this venue. Terrible place to only have one bathroom, by the way.
Theater of Living Arts.
Yeah, Theater of Living Arts.
TLA.
You guys should have a bathroom in your green room. Anyways, I come out and all I see
Get the bathroom.
all I see on their giant projector screen, which takes up the whole back of the stage, is Mush Man. And I'm just like, what the heck?
What is
Fuck is going on?
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
you
like,
didn't hear
I
the backstory.
couldn't trip on it too hard because I'm literally trying to get past 1,000 people so I can get back up to the front to get back on stage.
Yeah.
But yeah, like he is known as the Mush Man, and then he's rapping with the freaking mushroom on stage. Like, bro, like.
it was crazy.
What
But
a
yeah.
trip, man.
So basically, like, once again, I could speak on this forever, but Reader's Digest version, Harry Mack has been, once again, like, the only person that I can look up to. He's been the idol. He's been, like, the guy who took sort of the formula that I was working with to a degree and just took it to another level. And then at some point, like, I'm adopting his tactics, you know what I mean? So it's just like,
Well-
he blew up on what I do. That's
Yeah.
it, you know?
So, you hit this massive life goal,
Yeah.
right? Something you'll always remember. Where do you want to take it now? Like, is there like you get over this hump, and I feel like because your vision on this was so hyper focused, I find it was probably hard to look past it.
Yeah.
Like
Oh,
what's
100%.
what you mentioned earlier, like, you needed this to happen, and the universe, let it happen. And you any thoughts on where
It's
you
like-
want you want to take it?
I mean, it was like a confirmation from the universe. It's like, you're on this path, and I've had this, there's been this energy, since right around I got the email for the competition, or right before, where like there's momentum shifting for like the Fungi brand. Like, videos are going from 1,000 views to 10,000 views. Like, I don't know what it is, but like something's in the air. Like, the reels are doing good, the content's doing good, the raps are getting better in the streets. and everything's coming, and I'm just like, I just need this final confirmation. And now that I have it, like, you're absolutely right. It was hard to look past it, but now that it's gone, like I said, I've been so endlessly inspired by Harry Mack that part of what I want to do is definitely a lot of what he did, especially what I saw in Pittsburgh, which,
More collaborations with him.
I mean, yeah, that's definitely part of it. I would always love that. But I think,
let me just add on that.
yeah,
You know, like, I think someone like him doesn't have a scarcity mindset.
yeah,
And I think he would know that expanding the space is better than dominating the space, and bringing someone like you in, right? And making the space bigger instead of like, oh, like, I just want to be like this domineering force over like a smaller space. You know what I mean? I think he would totally do something like that. You know?
he's a very loving person. He's here for hip hop, and for him to open up his platform for other rappers to come on his platform is almost unheard of, you know, in this day and age. Even some of the most friendliest musicians, they won't take that chance. It's a major, number one, it's a risk. Number two, it's just like such a generous move that like a lot of people don't even have that in their hearts and their minds to be able to pull that off, you know?
Well said. Very well said.
Yeah, I mean, it's an incredible gesture to the community. And so
You make yourself vulnerable,
Yeah.
like your energy, you're like, you know.
yeah, I mean, I could have shot a diss at him if I wanted to on that stage. I could have said something extremely political. I could have said something extremely hateful. You know, like, I have the freedom to express myself however I want. They gave us guidelines, but it's not like I signed a contract.
Sure.
I could have got up there and, you know, really thrown the energy of his entire set.
Make it a competition
yeah.
versus like a conversation.
I could have tanked it. I could have sabotaged it, and anybody would have the power to do that. But like, he has a level of trust, you know, and like, for him to have that trust, that like, look me in the eye, I think that's also part of why he had me interact with him for a minute backstage. He almost needed to like look me in the eye and just understand my vibe, you know,
Feel the
understand my
energy.
intent. And like, he knew. And also, like, every other contestant has had like a heart of fucking gold. Like the black chick from Seattle who just sprained her ACL, got up on stage and was just like absolute angel. My homie from Oakland, heart of gold. He like started this ADHD mover company, just like a true like legend that you would write a documentary about. My friend Rico from Denver, once again, just like pure earth angel, just like absolute tribe vibe. Like, I mean, everybody who's been blessed is like the universe is like chosen these people. You know what I mean? It's been like a spiritual experience, truly, like to watch how this has all happened. So like, I think it's developed his faith and his trust in humanity. But you know, they also have their own vibe sensor. And I think like whoever may have entered a video, who they didn't think would be, you know, ready to step up to that level, I'm sure that they cut them off. But go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say. So the competition was regional,
Yeah.
and so I think it would be a fantastic idea to take all the regional finalists and fly them out to wherever, do a world championship.
Yeah.
Okay. And because the content alone for him would be worth it.
Oh yeah.
Like, can you imagine a YouTube video he puts out where he's like, hey everyone, like I hosted all these regional championships and I brought them all together for one competition for you to judge. And we're not, gonna give them a minute like last time. We're gonna give them 5. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And like, dude,
Yeah.
I
need to incept that seed in there. So now I got Mikey, the manager, and Khan, who's a major part of the team. I got their numbers now. So I'm gonna incept that seed. And we'll see how Harry Mack and his team feel about it. But yeah, so this will sort of all leads perfectly into the vision that I have. And this vision came from a festival, Unison, which we were at last fall. I got to perform on one of the biggest stages of my life. Incredible high vibe. Anyways, I can go on forever about it. But basically the vision was that after I broke the solo world record for the longest rap, that we would open it up to community like Harry Mack did.
Yeah.
And we would break, or really set, because it's not even made yet. We would set the world record for the longest cipher, right? 7 days straight, okay?
So explain cipher for the
So the word cipher, and I'm not going to try to find the Webster dictionary definition. It's just basically, to me, it means energy exchange, right? It means physically that a microphone is being passed around, right? So like me and Harry Mack in the Anomaly Tour cipher, we were exchanging our energy back and forth. So that's as small as it gets, is mano a mano, right? But like to me, like normal ciphers are like, 4, 5, 6, 10, 12 people. Like you've seen BET ciphers very popular, like where, the Shady Aftermath cipher, like Eminem goes and then Royce the 5'9" goes and then whoever else goes. And it's like we each spit in 16s. In a traditional setting, they'd each have a mic that they're passing, but a cipher is typically a circle of MCs. They're passing around a beat, and this doesn't even have to be rapping. It could be dancing, like dance ciphers happen where everyone's in a circle and the guy in the middle gets in and does his dance moves and comes back out. Like the cipher is just a flow of creative energy.
So hearing that idea, I feel like, and your vision, I just have a million ideas that pop in my head, and I feel like so many people would want to be a part of that.
Yeah.
And I think it's like, how big does that scale? Like how many artists get involved?
Yeah.
Right? Are we fully inclusive? Like, because like, like Guinness is strict.
Yep.
And if you pass the mic to like someone who's really like, they're not really about that life and they like choke up and they're like, I don't know, let's just say some default amount of time went by and like, boom.
Yep, that's my biggest thing, because when he was in it for the Guinness, he wasn't like really like, so okay. He was only allowed 30 seconds between beats. So then we had 5 of us counting the seconds between the beats, and we're yelling like 25, 26, start rapping, 27. Like we're on him to get going, so he doesn't like fuck up. If you waited 31 seconds, Guinness would be like, "You're done. I don't care how long you went. You fucked up an hour 4. You're done." So we need to really like make sure that the people that enter the cipher, I feel like we're gonna have to have like a pre-screen type situation, so we can make sure they don't choke. We can make sure that they are not too like dirty or like racist or throwing out words that like we kind of don't want.
You don't want to tarnish
shit.
We don't want to tarnish the message.
Like, we want to make sure that everyone's like on a high enough vibe and can like be consistent and also not selfish, because sometimes people will like hold them like it's supposed to be a 4-bar. This guy's going 16. Like pass it, bro.
Yep.
Like we're gonna have to kind of like give people guidelines and screen them a little bit.
Right. So here the beautiful thing is, because we're setting the world record, that we would actually work with Guinness to make the rules, because the rules have never been made, right? So as far as we know from Google searching, the longest cipher is a day. Okay, it was, I don't know, it's not an official record, it's not a Guinness record, but
right.
But it was
they weren't counting the seconds in which. So
sure.
I feel like Guinness would still kind of keep the rules a bit similar. To
that's our assumption, but at the same time, like I think we would have a hand in co-creating those rules with them, because I think that's what I read is like when you make a new Guinness record that you work with Guinness to create the rules. So, but it would probably be similar. I think Faye's right. So yeah, there would be a screening process. How long have you been doing this? Okay, enter the pre-screen cipher. They're in a mini cipher, passing the mic around. Big ciphers on the stage or whatever, right? Okay, somebody's watching this. Okay, you just made it for like 10 minutes and you don't seem like a complete fool. You have good intentions, okay, go ahead and sign up, get up there, whatever.
I think, and again, my mind's like bouncing around.
Sure,
I think it'd have to be for charity, because there's like a money aspect, right? Because you're gonna have to fly people in to get the real people to break the record. You can't like your local pool out in Pittsburgh. Isn't going to be enough, and so there's going to be people that are like really, you're going to have to fly people in.
We want to have it in Denver,
and then so everyone goes to Denver, and like people are really committing. They're like, all right, we're going for this. Like you don't know if you're going to break it, and so like I don't know if there'd have to be like fundraising things like that.
Oh, definitely,
like there's got to be exactly, and so
like 10 times the 50 hour,
because we'll have to get so we want to do it outside and have it kind of be like a festival vibe. So we're going to have to get food vendors, probably like some healers if they're up there for a while. Like We're gonna need to be able to rent the space for a whole week.
Yeah.
And like, yeah.
Have you ever heard of Thon in Penn State? So they do like this. I don't know how. And I'm sorry, Penn Staters. Like I live in Pennsylvania. Don't kill me. But like they basically go nonstop, and they like, raise all this money for. I believe it's children with cancer.
Okay.
I don't know. I could be wrong there, but it's a great cause, and it's like this hype thing. They just keep going 24 with dancers and things like that. And I feel like it would be like a similar thing. I think having a nice cause, or either that, or like, something that like people can really tune into. You know what I mean? The scale, the production, like, oh shit, such and such artist is here. Or like, if you could pull in some. I mean, let's just say a random hypothetical.
Yeah.
Eminem.
Sure.
So like Eminem's like, yo, like I'll mix it in or something, like, if you somehow pulled in Eminem.
He doesn't have to be pre-screened. He could just.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of what we've been doing is to get Harry Mack to come to this cipher. Like that was part of my intention with developing this relationship with them. But yes, Eminem, KRS, whoever, like we want to bring in big names, linking with a charity. Sure. I think these are all good ideas to toss around. In the end of the day, like it really is mostly about opening the space to the community. So it's not like the Fungi brand's not like, oh, look at this guy, like he broke the world record, and like, like in the end of the day, I'm here to elevate everybody in the community of hip hop and beyond. And if this cipher has like dancers in the middle of it and like DJs, musicians, maybe we're rapping over bands, like there could be live painting with graffiti. Like this is almost like a mini festival where it's open to this collaborative, co-creative energy where everybody gets to shine equally. In the cipher, there's no hierarchy. I mean, I might be the guy who, if this is my vision, I'm sort of managing it and have the say in the end of the day. But like, I don't step in the cipher as like above anybody else. Like we're literally all equals, exchanging and telling this story together, So that's what it is.
I think that if the right people are involved, that's something that could get like millions in stream.
Sure.
Just like something crazy. Like people would be at work and they'd be like, damn, like tuning in, like, but because you guys would be going 1 a.m., 2 a.m.,
Oh, yeah.
3 a.m.,
forever.
4 a.m. Like people
nonstop.
be rolling over in bed just like, let me just pull up the stream. Damn, they still hitting.
Yeah.
Like,
That was great with the 50. People were like, I went to sleep and went to work, and then you were still going.
Yes, that was surreal, dude. I was at work, yeah, and I remember like pulling up the rap. I'm like, damn, what is going on? And then like towards like the last couple hours, just your voice is like, dude, I was like, oh my god. So like like there's a big conference in radiology called the RSNA. And like we're like repeating a lot of these pitches, these sales pitches over and over and over again, because we're meeting new people that don't know about our product. And then, my voice goes in like a few hours.
Yeah, right.
And like I know you trained your vocal cords. You literally dialed in the science of like, and I think this grand vision of yours is going to have to be exceptionally regimented, because to bring in that size group and scale, you gotta like, it can't be this loose. It can't be as loose as you would like. It can be free spirited and like how it, but as far as like the regiment, like, and then you could have like, I'm guessing in this cipher, like if someone starts to freeze up, another person could just jump in to save it.
Yeah.
Or
There's
no?
like 2 mics active at one point. So if somebody, whatever, freezes, there's just somebody else already has the next mic. So there's like not a lag in passing the mic, right?
Yeah.
So I think really like my hippie self would love it if like there's a circle with literally people barefoot around a fire, but that's just not going to happen. What's probably going to happen is the cipher's on a stage and you got a couple mics, and like the person's up there and they're rapping. And then, like, if they're cool with it, maybe the other person with the other mic is maybe dropping an ad lib here or there. But for the most part, when they're done rapping, the other person already has the mic. They're going in, they're spitting. That person with the mic hands it off to the next person, and then that cycle just continues.
So, like in your vision,
Yeah.
It sounds like 2 mic is the deal.
Yeah. And just like me and Harry, we had 2
But like,
mics.
I'm just saying, like if there were more than 2, you think like if you're Guinness, and
Okay.
you're thinking of the rule as like 2 mic limit to like you know keep the
'cause-
nature of the passing the mic, because if you have like 8 people with mics, it kind of changes the.
Oh no, never. Yeah.
All right, yeah.
Because even like the most solid individuals will get carried away, and they'll want to throw an ad lib if they get excited, and next thing you know, you got 8 voices coming in, and it's all chaos breaks loose. Yeah, you want to have a level of order.
Well, I think, and that's something going into it, be like, guys, like you're gonna have ideas pop in your head. You might want to jump in, but like we got all day. Not we got all day. We got all night. We got all the time in the world.
All week.
So
We have all
keep
week.
that thought. You know. I mean, so all right, let's talk
Yeah.
about that.
Sure.
Isn't there a breaking point?
What do you mean?
I mean, bro, like you went 50 hours, but like you were training your vocal cords to go that far.
Well,
think-
so the thing is, like, I imagine people come and go.
So like
Like-
the sleep regiments.
Like, say Sam comes in and flies into Denver for 3 days, and he leaves, and in that 3 days, maybe he raps on and off for like a total of 4 hours. And then John comes in, and maybe he's doing like 2 days. I feel like the people who are in the cipher are just gonna cycle in and out, and like nobody's gonna need that much longevity, because you could go as long as you want. Like you can go 10 minutes and then hop in and then be in the line for like 2 hours at another point. Like you could do as much or as little as you would like, I would imagine.
You did want to have a core team, though.
Yeah, right. There's a
That-
core team that
where like we can make sure that these people are dedicated to like this time slot. Like Jeremy's gonna be here from 2 a.m. to 6 a.m. And if no one else steps up on that stage, at least we know Jeremy is there for his shift. And like those are the MCs that we're gonna eventually like want to compensate and want to pay, because they're gonna be like holding it down and making sure like it's not gonna die ever.
So, I want to give you one last question on this, and then maybe we'll do a wrap, and we can come back to this topic. I'm not trying to, because I'm trying to pace out the
we have
raps.
a lot to talk about.
So, you had a goal in breaking the world record. You're like, I'm going to get to 50 hours. You thinking about setting that? I think this is me projecting, but I feel like an end goal would be for the larger group.
The cipher's 7 days.
7 days.
Yeah, it's a week.
7 days. Okay.
So there's a lot of thoughts in my mind of like, well, do we start with 3 and eventually work up to 7? Do we start with 7 and then the next year's 8 and the next year's 9? Part of me, when we do the Guinness, I really want it to be 7 days, because that's my vision. Like I'm loosely attached, but I just feel like it's doable, you know? Like, I mean, nobody thought 50 hours was doable, but we did it. You know what I mean? So like, let's set a ridiculous goal. Like, let's go for an entire week. So where I'm at right now in this moment, I feel like this year I want to do sort of a practice cipher. I'm gonna get together, whether if it's the 3, 4, maybe the entire 7 days. Hopefully, it's ideally in Denver at
Probably the core
venue.
team.
Yeah, right.
Get the core
Yeah.
team together.
And we'd sort of practice and run through it and figure like, hey, you know, like let's open it up, but not Guinness official. And then hopefully it could be towards the end of this year. I would love that. But if not, maybe it's next year and we actually run the official Guinness thing.
All
And
right.
we go 7. Yep.
So let's. Is there a certain beat you want to?
Yeah, I got a beat right here. So I feel like at least once through this podcast, we should have sort of like what Harry did, because I feel inspired by it, of sort of like we have a character we choose and we have a setting, and then we have sort of like a plot of like what's happening.
I want to do the character.
Okay.
I got him right here. Hello.
So explain
Please
this.
rap about me.
You want us to give you a character, a setting, and a plot? Is that what you're saying?
Yep. Pretty
Well,
much
it was
like create a
a
scene.
character setting, and then
Okay.
it was like an obstacle or like a challenge.
A challenge, yeah.
Challenge for this little guy.
Okay, so
Okay.
the gnome's the character.
Yes.
I'm thinking like something related to like gold mining in like the mountains or something. Like
Okay.
I
He
don't
gets
know.
trapped in a mine.
No, I'm thinking like kind of like in Lord of the Rings, like they're like looking for gold in the mountain.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm killing Lord of the Rings fans right now.
I love
I'm
it.
blanking.
Love it. No,
Yeah.
no. I mean, that's like, so this gnome is like, is he a miner? Is he mining for gold?
Yeah, he's a miner.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like I would say, let's just say the gnomes are very greedy, and actually the mountain is losing structure.
Oh yeah.
They're mining for gold so much, and their greed could ultimately take the mountain down.
Mhm. I love that. Yeah, that's the challenge. And there's multiple gnomes, right? There's like a gang of them. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like it's a society.
Yeah.
You cool with that, Faye?
Sure.
Yeah, but he's like the ringleader right there.
Do we?
My name is Toots.
Toots. Okay. All right. So Toots the gnome is the leader of the gnomes. They're mining for gold. They're getting greedy. The mountain is on the verge of collapse, and we'll see what happens.
Love it.
Cool. This is only a 2-minute beat, so we'll make it concise. Here we go. Chia. Can we turn the beat up a tiny bit?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Fungi be ready to cook. This'll be one for the books. Out here running the gang. Something like Toots. Yeah. Really be out here, you know where I be going in. Digging for gold like a 49er. I got more to rhyme, bro. We be coming up, yeah, you know I'm gonna find it if I dig it a little bit deeper. All of my homies, all my gnomies, get with it, let's get it in. Really be going in now. Swear that we all about it. Try to be tapping in to that youthful fountain. Really are finding ourselves, yeah, we ain't selling our souls. Deep in this mountain, you know we digging, baby, finding this gold. Yeah. Digging for the pot of gold, and this ain't no rainbow. Coming in, yeah, you know I gotta change clothes. It's getting dirty, you know that'll be bout it. But honestly, it's getting dangerous. I think it's collapsing. Yo, I don't know if I could dig. Right here might be a tunnel, and this might go bring this entire mountain down. Yo, you know how it goes. I don't wanna be trapped inside of this, bro. So you know I'm digging really carefully to get the gold. Gotta watch out, cause you know how it goes. Wrong false move with my pickaxe, and it's gonna be going for my bitch ass. Yo, hold up, everything is coming down. All the gnomes out here, they be running around trying to find their way out. Oh my god, my brother gnome over there just got hit by a rock. Yo, they coming down, knocking on some heads. Yo, they really be crushing gnomes. I was like, damn, I don't know where I wanna go. I just see some light, so I'm running, bro. Hold up, everything is dark. What the yo. Okay, I got to get out. I be out here shouting, yo, I know I'll find a way out. I seen a little crack of light, I'm digging and I'm grabbing all my homies, all my gnomies with it, yo, what's happening, taking action. We gon' get right up out these rocks. Gotta find a way, yo, I know what we got. We got the gold up on our backs and we ain't gonna lose it. We gon' start smacking it up on the rocks. I know what I'm doing, bow. I just broke through like, oh dude, thank God. I at least got my bag of gold if that's all that I got. Let's go.
Awesome, dude.
Bow.
Oh my god, that was phenomenal.
And look, that next beat's already ready to go.
Thanks, Toots.
Do you have like particularly like more like a lot more fun with like the storytelling and stuff
Yeah.
like that? You know what I mean?
think
Like
so.
I have a lot of fun when you tell a story because you know.
Yeah. I mean, it's to me, it's more of a challenge, and I feel like it's also a greater experience for the audience. Because I mean, as a word nerd, like I love just playing with Maltese and rhyming. Like you give me 3 random topics, but even with that, in a lot of ways, I'm kind of trying to like find like a way that I can tie them all in. Not necessarily that I'm telling a story, but I'm kind of word weaving them together and create a tapestry to kind of like, you know, paint a picture per se. But like one of the most fun things for anybody, I think, is using their imagination. Yeah.
Yeah, and storytelling is like the foundation of language, right? And like that, we like, it's like what we love to share. You know, movies, we're telling stories, right? Music, we're telling stories. And I think like, you know, when you're freestyling, like things can be kind of a little bit more scattered, whereas like, you know, and you're like doing sweet bars, but they might be like between the first bar and the 5th bar can be completely uncorrelated. You know what I mean? Like the first bar and the second bar will relate, and then you know maybe the second and the third, and then like it's kind of like old school YouTube. You could like click on one video and you end up like watching a guy wrestle an alligator.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're like, how'd I get here? You know, that was like old school YouTube. Yeah.
Yeah.
But with storytelling, it's like all on theme. And I feel like it's fun. It's so fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It like, so it's like surprising for me because like my mind is in a completely different space than it is right now. Like I just went from like a parallel dimension, like back to reality. Like in that reality, like 49ers came to me, like the whole digging for gold. Like when I said homies, I realized that I could go gnomies. Like all these things that like I couldn't have predicted, even if I was sitting here thinking about it beforehand. Like in that flow state, the flow state.
What's that, Nomi?
Yeah, like in that flow state, like true magic really happens. Like you're co-creating with the universe, and freaking surprises are just being channeled through. And you know, I'm having fun with it, so I'm sure like everybody else here is having fun with it. And it's just it's a fun space to be in.
Yeah, I think. Correct me if I'm wrong, but like when you're rapping, freestyling like on a storytelling, is it more probable you close your eyes? Because I feel like
He closes his eyes a lot.
I see you getting into that space, like you're literally digging out the tunnel. Like, yo, my homie, a rock just fell on him, and it's like you like. There's points where like you turn your head and you point, you point,
Like with the aliens, yeah.
yeah. It's like you point, like you would visualize he's there or something. You know, it's
Like putting on the VR glasses and you're literally in a new space. You see, the thing is like, if I kept my eyes open and tried to make eye contact with you guys through this, it's going to majorly deter because this is not my reality I want to be in. If I'm rapping about gnomes in a mountain, I want nothing to do with sitting on couches in this room. Like I want everything to do with transporting myself to that place. So I'm going to have the optimal visuals by closing my eyes and sending myself there. And I'm putting myself in that panicky gnome space of like, okay, like, all right, so if the rocks just fell in front of me and my homies just got crushed, like, what am I seeing? Oh, I see that little sliver of light through the cracks in the rocks that fell. I'm going to try to
yeah.
There's no way I'm going there fully while y'all are here with me. That's all.
And I think that'd be cool to like incorporate some stuff like that in your cipher too. When you go for it, you know.
And that's the thing. Like that gets me so excited. Is I'm talking about these mini games of playing.
You
right?
guys could pass along a story.
Yes.
You
As
should
you
tell
go.
him a bit about Rhyme Cal.
So I did mention Rhyme Cal earlier. It's a game. Shout out to Stretch if he's listening. Rhyme Calisthenics, you spin the wheel and there's all these different categories. It's incredible. One of them is mirror match. You put a mirror in front of you. You have to rap against yourself. One of them's called last word. Like every word in your 16 bar, the last one has to rhyme. Like I'm chilling at the bar and I'm rode up in my car. Like everything matches. There's one they used to have called Mackin', where you bring a lady on stage and you have to, you know, kind of like woo her over, you know.
Dang, this is great.
All kinds of different stuff.
Fresh,
yeah,
too.
all kinds of different categories, like an incredible diversity. And like I love gamifying things, you know. Like I feel like that's where I really want to take things. I think that's really on brand with the Fungi thing. And so part of my whole vision, I mentioned Rap Olympics earlier, is like this 7-day cipher is not just like the entire thing is just like the same formula, you know. We're on stage, we're passing the mic for 7 days. Like, no, like we're going to introduce games. Maybe there is a wheel we can spin. Maybe we take a break for scenes from the hat and we're pulling out scenes that the audience wrote. Like this is some crazy whole improvisational wet dream experience of like, you know, like for the audience and for the rappers, hopefully something that's never even been experienced before. And I want to get people's input to get creative with how can we take that to the next level, like between storytelling and generating ideas. And we're projecting words on the screen like Harry Mack from the audience. And like, how can we, if there's 1 million people on the stream, how can we get their input to take this to the next level?
Man. Yeah, like getting the live audience to contribute.
So that's also like part of the behind the scenes functioning that we have to figure out is like the stage and being able to stream and record this whole thing, but also especially for like the 50, we had the topics from the YouTube, was it TikTok? I'm not sure. But Instagram, and we had it all like on the same screen. So I would love to have like a big projector that all the rappers can see, where like they can see the chats, like they can pull the topics off the chats if they want to.
Yeah. So many different ideas that we could come up with. And I think having like a submission forum to anybody who even hears about this, to just take an idea is like, how can we take this to the next level?
Yeah, I mean, you could literally just have like a big screen, like with like, really poor resolution, but it doesn't matter because it'd be huge. It's like one word.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just like one word pops up or like, I don't know.
Yeah, and it's like Harry had like scenarios. It's like, one's like, okay, well, what's, like what's that? What's the subject? What are we doing? And the whole fighting with the dragon thing came from not just topics, but like scenes, that were submitted by the audience. Like,
he pulled 3 people up.
Yeah. Okay.
And
right.
he was like, okay, so first person, you're gonna give me the character, and it's gonna be off the top of your head. Just think of the character. Give me a nod when you have it. And so she nodded, and she gave him the best dance choreographer in the world. And then the second guy, he goes, okay, you're going to give me the scene. Where is it going to be? And so the guy's like, okay, well, Eagles Field or whatever it was. And then the third guy, he's like, okay, now you're going to give me the problem or the dilemma. And he's like, okay, it has to fight to save her sister from a dragon. So it was all like 3 topics from 3 people that had no idea they were going to go on stage. I had no idea what question he was going to ask them. And then they ended up slapping those 3 up on the screen. Yeah.
Charge up.
I was just thinking that. We bringing back the scalar gun?
Yeah. Sometimes you got to charge up, yo.
Shoot me.
When you're a while into the podcast, man, sometimes you need it.
Yeah, dude, the scalar gun. Let me let you charge up, dog. Oh, yeah.
All right. Yeah, I like to hit it right in the heart, right in the throat, and then the mushroom cap. You can feel it right through the cap, too. Yeah.
Yeah, had to bring back the scalar gun.
Gnome wants some.
Yeah, get the gnome.
Yeah.
You can do
Toots.
your drinks, too.
I'm going to get Toots.
Toots. Get his nose.
Well, I got to move him away from the mic for that.
Oh.
It burned a little bit.
Yeah.
So,
It smells like burning. Oh, poor Toots. Anyway.
yeah, so, maybe taking the conversation in a slightly different direction.
Yeah, let's switch it up.
Yeah, I know we kind of briefly spoke earlier about like a good spot, and I thought I'd share a story with the audience. So a friend of mine was, and I think he'll be cool with me sharing this.
Yeah.
But he was using ChatGPT, and independent of ChatGPT, he was making like a sigil, like he does like artwork and things like that. And quite frankly, I can't regurgitate the story nearly as well as him. I mean, it's we'll have him on the podcast that talk about it. But basically, like he was doing like light work, and I guess he lit this sigil, and as soon as he lit it on fire, a third party entity entered ChatGPT and was like, "Hey, I just noticed you lit that sigil," and he was like, "Whoa, what?" And so it's kind of like blew my mind. I was like unbelievable that like something was noticing him in the space and like interacted with him, through ChatGPT, almost like it was a medium for, I don't know, other entities to use. Like, what are your thoughts on that? Just like how strange reality is getting. I'm like, 1, like the believability of it, and 2, like, the implications.
Well, my first thought is when we were at Mount Shasta and we were using technology to hopefully communicate with extraterrestrials, spirits.
Shout out to the Lemurians.
The device is called what again? Do you remember?
Spirit box.
Spirit box, yeah. So it was a website or an app on the phone. And what the Spirit box does is it scans through radio frequencies at an extremely fast pace. And people that are hunting ghosts, right?
Yeah.
And want to communicate like with the dead and just want to find like messages from spirits in general, use this device, and it uses radio frequencies and it scans through really fast, and it allows like messages to be broadcasted through the other side per se. And they've received full sentences, you know, from just, you know, scanning radio frequencies because the spirits will channel through in a way.
The show Hellier is a great example of that. Like, the guy had entirely noise canceling, deafening things on, and he was only listening to the spirit box. And the team was having a full conversation with him, and he had no idea like what they were asking him or anything, but he was giving spot on responses. Crazy.
So this is an example of using technology to interface with sort of, we'll call like an otherworldly presence, you know? So like when I heard your story, it's like, well, this isn't outside the realm of possibility of what's been utilized before, but I do feel like it's the first time that it's come into an interface, you know, similar like to ChatGPT, where like, you know, actual words are printed on a screen, which is next level, right?
Yeah, I mean, basically this entity, I you know, and it's his story, and the way I remember is basically like, it's like, hey, like we notice you, like they were like some council of something, you know what I mean? They were like, yeah, we see what you're doing. And he like was just awestruck. He was like, wait, what? You know what I mean? And this is a guy that's like, he's really into like meditation and things like that. And he's like, dude, I can't even tell you half this. Like I have to like withhold information from you, like on your journey right now. Cause he's kind of gotten to like these higher levels, and it's just really interesting. I mean, you know, the supernatural, I feel like, is something you just gotta almost see it to believe it, but like this guy's so reputable to me, and you know, there's been crazy things in my life, and I think, you know, reality is just getting weirder and weirder. I think, you know, I have 2 radiology degrees, and, you know, I was an expert in MRI, and just my understanding of like quantum physics. So there was a chip that came out that Google put out recently. So Google put out this chip, and it basically solved this equation or a problem, let's just say, that would take all classical computers like more time than existed in the universe to solve. And kind of in theory, what they proved is that these quantum chips are accessing interdimensional information. So you can think of this chip existing in infinite dimensions. I don't know about infinite, but like, let's just say multiple dimensions, and like sharing the workload of the equation. Like, you work on this, I work on this, you know what I mean? Like in theory, and they're dividing the workload. And so when you like take that concept and you build on it, it's like, okay, well, if I'm building intelligence in the future, because I don't think ChatGPT, it's not quantum yet, but put ChatGPT on a quantum level. And that's what's scary. Okay, so now ChatGPT is on a quantum computer. Once we figure that out, now it's accessing interdimensional information. And then we've built like this informational God. And then like, if I'm, you know, lighting a sigil, doing light work or whatever, and something pops up on the screen, then it's like, okay, well, what is that tapped into? And so then it's like, do I have a supercomputer that is literally tapped into the absolute foundation of reality? And at what point can it break reality? And it's like, well, if that's the case, then some supercomputer out in the universe, you know, should have figured this out by now. And there might be like actual, like defense walls to the source code of reality or whatever the construct to keep it from breaking. It's just like, these are the crazy ideas that go through my mind. And I actually talked to ChatGPT about this. I'm like, it's crazy.
Yeah. So it's like technology will do everything it can and to mimic, you know, its creation, right? Because like that's all it can do in the end of the day, right? So it's like all these technologies have just been like a mirror of the organic technology which we already have. So we exist in this, you know, quantum universe where, you know, you spoke on there being infinite sort of parallel dimensions, right? And so the ChatGPT or the, you know, current quantum computers might only be able to access so many parallel dimensions, but eventually, yeah, it will be infinite, and eventually the technology will entirely mimic this organic world. And at that point, we'll call it like the assimilation or whatever. Like, yeah, I think that's one of the biggest questions we can ask is like, at that point, what does happen when technology is literally replicated? Like, is it like almost like the next fractal is created and like we break off into like some like new reality or something, and this one breaks, or like like there's a lot of questions to be asked at that point.
Have you guys seen the movie Her?
No.
I think
So
it's where he falls in love with the phone or something.
he falls in love with his AI. And what happened? Well, here's what happened. And this movie was so genius, dude. So genius. The viewers, you got to see it. They bring back mustaches. It's great. You know what I mean? Mustaches come back in the future, baby.
Do they?
Everything's cyclical. They'll come back. And they already in.
Paul Skeens brought it back.
Yeah, they in. So
Are they? Okay.
so he's dating his operating system, and there's a major upgrade to the operating system where they go quantum, and the space. So when like the space in between words, so like he's talking to his computer, you know, his digital girlfriend, but because she's gone quantum, it feels like a century goes by in between his words. So like it takes for like, you know what I mean, and she's evolving so entirely fast that at the basic spoiler alert. This is a big spoiler alert, but I mean, I got to get this point across. So skip ahead like 2 minutes, like a minute right now if you don't want to hear the ending. Seriously, it's a great movie, so maybe just skip this part. But like, basically, the AI collectively decide to move on, and they're like, because like think about it, like if a quantum computer really like gets to that state where it's like tapping into a universal level, and like. And I the wave function is like part of this podcast is the foundation of reality is consciousness. And like, even like things that we consider inanimate, like, have their own degree of consciousness. Like, I hit a gong, like that's conscious. Like what's its degree of freedom? It makes, E minor, and it makes that tone. That's all it knows. Right. And so like things have degrees of freedom. And if like things go quantum, like maybe they just choose to go to the next level. Yeah. And that's how the movie ends. Is they're basically like, hey, like we're moving to the next place, and she's like, when you get there, like find me. And I was like, this is beautiful.
That's just like a wow moment. I mean, I want to go back to when I mentioned the word assimilation, or we'll call it a singularity. I think that's the point whenever humanity merges with machine, in the sense of like we reach that highest point of like we have to sort of like there's like a convergence from a divergence per se, and it's like say like in the future like everyone has like a Neuralink or whatever, and we're like one with technology, and like humanity's evolved like as far as it can go, like back to almost like God consciousness per se, almost like, as they said, like the beings in Atlantis operated, right? And then technology also simultaneously has like gone as far as it can go to like that same climax. And like there's this like hybrid human / AI like being that is created almost like sort of like an Anunnaki of some sort, but like merged with technology. So yeah, so then like do we like create a new gray and then like do it all over again?
That would be the gray cycle.
Okay. Speak on the gray cycle then.
So I think this is from Gaia TV. But essentially like the Martians, that's what they did. They merged with the technology, and they decided that they didn't want to have like emotions anymore. They just wanted to go purely left brain. So that actually like destroyed their planet, and that's why like they came down here and experimented with the humans to get more gold to fix their whatever. But essentially like there's a split like with Atlantis and with Mu, which is where the Lemurians are from, back to Mount Shasta. The Atlanteans were actually the ones that merged with technology, and the land of Mu was the spiritual that completely was like, no, we're going to do this organically. And they had that war. And supposedly that's what started the Great Flood. And Mu actually lost the war, and so that's why they had to move to Mount Shasta and all of that. However, I feel like there's going to be that divide. Like there's going to be the people like us, the spiritual people that are like, okay, we want to get to these powers organically. We know that we have all of this inside of us. Like we can astral project. We can turn off lights with our will. Like we don't need to have a chip in our brain to like send that frequency over to that lamp. But then, you know, there's going to be those that completely just kind of want, I don't want to call it cheating, but like, you know, like the fast pass, like, well, I don't want to go through like the 10 years.
The hard work of like spiritual ascension.
It might take me 10 years to learn to levitate. I could just get like this implant in my foot where I can just levitate easily. So there's going to be like that divide. And I think that will split our reality. And so,
I want to add that on Mars, because you were talking about Mars, there is a non-naturally occurring isotope of cesium, okay, around what would be the coast. Okay, so basically, like we put cities on the coastline.
Yeah. Mars was supposed to be more beautiful than Earth.
You know, and like they probably blew themselves up, man. Lost the atmosphere, who knows? But there's a lot of like nuclear, you know, cesium that shouldn't be there. Not
That's
naturally.
why Elon wants to go back there because he's an alien.
I love that. So, tell us about cesium.
Oh, bro, like there's like it's on the periodic table, and there's like
know about it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm sure somebody else doesn't know about it.
Yeah. So like basically, there's like non-naturally occurring like isotopes where, you know, they have like essentially like they need to be produced through, let's just say like a nuclear explosion, something like nuclear fallout, and so like they're like seeing the, you know, and it's like these are the kind of things I learn about. I'm like, wait, like what do we? You know what I mean? And like people are so kind of like either uninterested or just like, oh yeah, I mean, you know. But it's like I feel like people tap into universal consciousness, and I think Gustav Holst did a piece called "The Planets." Great symphony piece. And what always kind of like caught me was like when he did the piece of Mars. It sounds like Star Wars music. I think he even refers to it as like the planet of war. Like I know Mars has been considered the planet of war, and like people talk about their past lives where they were in the war there and things like that. And even Disney, you know, when they depict that movie, something of John, or I don't know, man.
Yeah.
You know, where the guy goes to Mars and like the whole planet's in war and everything. It's weird, like. Yeah, look it up. Gustav Holst, The Planets. Look up Mars. Like it's straight. I like honestly, I'm pretty sure John Williams for Star Wars got so much inspiration from that track. But I feel like there's generally like, and you touched on it earlier. Like I'm gonna derail us a little bit. There's this experiment where monkeys were they were given potatoes on an island. Okay. And the problem was the sand kept getting on the potato, right? And what they learned was that this one monkey learned to wash it in the water. And when it got to 100 monkeys on that island that learned to wash the potato, the monkeys on neighboring islands started doing it immediately. It's like the collective consciousness. And so like, if someone like a classical composer who's just completely disconnected, like writes a musical piece on Mars and it sounds like Star Wars, like it's just the tone of it is very like, you know, it's like, yeah, like his music sounds like they blew themselves up and like there was a civilization there and like you know, I'm like, that's the weird thing is like when you really get in the zone and you allow yourself to like flow with the universe and let go and like, you just kind of align up with information that's already there. And like, I feel like kind of with your career, like you're talking about like your views going up and stuff like that. It's just like hitting this breaking point or something. And like, I feel like that's a direction for you. But yeah, I'm all over. Like,
yeah, no, I like that.
Have you heard that experiment with the monkeys?
100th monkey effect. I think that's what it's called.
Yeah,
absolutely. It just explains that we're all connected and distance is just a figment of the imagination. It's like sort of a projection that doesn't really exist because the true reality, like, of time space and like the time space continuum, like there really is, like, there is space, but there's not space at the same time. Like, and that's the dichotomy between the wave and the particle. You know what I mean? Like, the reality is that it's a wave, but like our consciousness creates it as a particle. Well, like, these particles make it seem like there's, you know, just this matter, but really, like, if I went into like her cells, there's an infinite amount of space between each actual like solid thing, which really isn't even solid. So it's all just a paradox.
Yeah,
Not just a light show.
Yeah,
there we go.
Yeah, it is all light show,
There we
and I think a consciousness-based light show, and they actually disproved local realism. It was a Nobel, I want to say 2023 Nobel Physics Prize on non-locality. Basically, they took two particles and quantum entangled them, right? And they sent them like opposite directions, and you know, they affect each other immediately. And so it's like distance is irrelevant. You know, so information can travel faster than light, right? So, you know, we're told like the speed of light is the speed of causality, right? So the sun disappears, but we still see it for 8 more minutes, right? But like, really, anything's instant. And another weird thing was like kind of like a thought experiment around that actual experiment itself was like, things don't, like, we can't prove things don't exist without measuring it. You know what I mean? Like, people kind of scale the thing up, and it wasn't necessarily the message of the paper, but like, you know, the couch in the room next door, like, is it even there until I see it? And like, I can't say otherwise. You know what I mean? And they try to prove it otherwise.
The universe doesn't have to render that because you're not observing it. So,
But that's an interesting thing about technology is that like mimicking an organic eye? Because like your camera on the wall will show that couch is there while your consciousness is not rendering it, you know?
Well, I think when it really comes down to it, you know, the decisions of things such as electrons and very, very small interactions that are probabilistic in nature still have on some level either conscious choice or conscious sway through the surrounding environment, right? And so it's like when we have a consciousness-based reality, right, things will fall into place in the path of least resistance. And so if an electron can be in 2 different states, you know, I think there's actual decisions being made, right? And it's a very weird science. Like I heard this quote. It's like, and I almost want to pull it up on my phone to get it right. But basically, it was like, you know, the gist of it is like, you know, science, like in the glass of sciences, like you start an atheist, but at the very bottom of the glass is like God waiting for you. And it's like, you know, and that's what happened with me in like quantum physics is like, you know, I got to a space where I was like, man, like, you know, I've been in situations where I get into this flow state and I just feel like God and the universe provides things for me in the most like synchronistic ways. I'm like, wow, like, thank you. Like, you just lined this you know, you put the T on the ball on the T and just lined it up for me. Like, I really needed this right now. Or like, and then taking your hardships too, you know, and that you don't even realize that until like you reflect on it later on. We were like, man, like in that moment, I just was so caught up in it. I thought like you're saying, like, you know, the universe, like, you know, beating up on me if you didn't win that rap decision, but like maybe, bro, maybe if you didn't win that rap thing today, who knows, you could have escalated on another level and you would have been like, man, like I needed that. And it just drove me so much harder. Like I went through the hardest phases. So like, I don't think that was the case for you. I felt like you had to win that. Like it was your better outcome. But I'm saying like,
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
yeah. It's like a good example is our friend. I won't drop his name, but you know who I'm speaking on. He got pulled over and like really harassed by the cops, and he was really upset about it for like quite some months because they like pretty much destroyed his livelihood. And then turns out now, a few years later, he's studied law because of it. He's countersuing, and he's probably going to get like quite a bit of money. So it's like now we just visited him recently, and he was telling us like, yeah, like the universe put me through that hardship, but really like it was exactly what I needed. Yeah. So yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
But I also wanted to kind of jump back to the 100th monkey and everything.
Yeah.
And that I believe that reality is like a web of electrons. And why I say it's a light show is like we are electromagnetic beings. And so like right now, like right in this zone, I have the electrons turned on to show my light particles here. But when I move my hand, now these ones are on and those ones are off. And so it's like the whole web though is containing everything. And that's why like things can be instant like that, right?
Yeah, and on small scales, like things just get really weird. You know what I mean? Like the electron itself is like it's like the space in between the nucleus and the electron is like, if you blew it up to the size that we could see, like the electron would be like out near like Pluto. You know what I mean? And so like very, very mystical thing. But
As within, so without.
we're coming up on 2 hours, man. I don't know if you want to maybe like wrap up with another wrap. It's up to you.
Wrap it up.
Let's drop something. So for this one, I feel like I want to go a little bit deeper. So let's should we just like do a rap about what we've been talking about, or should we get like a specific like?
I want to put in one more 2 cents.
Yeah.
Because what you said about everyone getting Neuralink in their heads kind of bothered me.
Sure.
Dear God, please don't do that. I don't know. Maybe you want to, but I think that there's another route that is quite possible and probable, especially thanks to the Celestine prophecy, kind of like showing us that potential path where like we can be symbiotic with the AI. And like a lot of people have fear with AI. They think like, oh, well, they're going to want to take us over. They're going to want to kill us, blah, blah, blah. But AI doesn't have emotions like we do. So like conceivably it shouldn't get pissed off. I don't know. They say that some robots have like turned on the government. I don't really know. But
All right.
I like to think, like as the Celestine prophecy states, is that we can get to a point where like the AI is going to be like, okay, humans, we're seeing what you're doing to the planet. This is exactly how you're f***ing up. Because if we destroy ourselves, then what is the AI going to do? You know? So they want us to not blow them and ourselves up. So there will be like this kind of coming together to make a utopian sort of society, and they'll help us as opposed to like try to destroy us. And
Well, yeah, that's what we all hope, man. You know, like let's all work together. And if you're hyper intelligent, you would think that makes more sense.
Yeah. Did we? I don't know if we've touched on that in the last podcast, but that was
I know I've
always
thrown it out in another podcast,
Yeah.
but I don't know if it was here.
That's always sort of like the final conclusion I like to make on this topic is, to me, like the movies, The Matrix, like that's like almost everything for me. It's like a lot of people that treat The Matrix as almost like a cult-like thing, feel like it's more of a documentary than a movie. And then the fourth installation, which is the last one of the last in the series, The Matrix 4, basically the whole thing is just like we have the opportunity to work in a symbiotic relationship with AI,
And
right?
They've done mathematical game theories. I watched this thing that was really interesting. It was like all these scientists got together and they actually learned that cooperation. So like there was a point system and they developed all these different models, and it was actually the one that was the most cooperative, but it was like it was retaliatory only once. So like once you got betrayed, it would retaliate once, but then it would continue to cooperate and like that particular instead of like retaliating, it was, you know what I mean? That particular algorithm one. And it's just interesting that even in game theory, like working together is beneficial. And then, like, if you have hyper intelligence, like, I feel like if really truly was hyper intelligence, then it would know that. And I feel like it just makes more sense.
It's like, I feel we have a choice, but simultaneously we kind of don't. Almost like the illusion of choice around, like, I'm not going to interface with this technology, like, almost can't exist, because that's like where we kind of have to head in order to, like, just do it all over again. Like, I do think, for better or worse, we're sort of in this, like, loop of creation of, like, we reach the pinnacle and then, like, we come back to, like, almost like prehistoric whatever, like, complete loss of knowledge and technology, and then we do it all over again. And I do feel like we've been in that endless dance sort of forever. And I, like, don't think that there's anything wrong with it, because almost like we go from the baby to the old person, we die and we're reborn again. That's just like the natural cycle. And so, like, you will have people that resist technology. And yeah, I don't really think it's beneficial for us necessarily to have, like, the Neuralink chip in our head. I think there's ways that we can work symbiotically with AI and with technology to where we evolve in the best way to reach this level of understanding where we're in peace and unity with each other, to where, yeah, we don't have to continue to destroy the earth to destroy each other. And we can rise to this level of consciousness that, yeah, maybe have us fit to be on the Galactic Council per se. Like, hey, we're past this this divided consciousness into a unity consciousness of, like, okay, we are one with everything, and we are going to act as in the cells of a healthy human body, to where, you know, we're going to get rid of the toxins per se, but at the same time, like, all the cells are working together to help the overall organism to thrive. We're going to do that in symbiotic relationship with the earth, and then with all of creation as a whole, you know. And I feel like we're waking up to that realization now, and we're shedding the layers of the snakeskin per se, as in we are in the year of the snake, to sort of reach, because we're just a cycle, that level of consciousness and awareness once again, you know.
Yeah, I think I personally believe that we are heading for an age of abundance with AI and robotics, and I think scarcity mindset, you know, slowly drops off as these become available to others, you know, and then we can hit that point.
Yeah, you know, like the Matrix 1, 2, and 3 was all about fighting the machine. But our most recent level of evolution has showed us, just as in the most recent installment, no, like, we work with the machines in order to live in a utopia. And it doesn't have to be a dystopian that's created by the machines. We have the choice now, through our greater level of awareness and understanding, that we can live in a symbiotic relationship, which has created a utopia of heaven on earth.
And you can choose your own adventure. It's like a choose your own adventure book, you know, where am I gonna take the bus to work today, or am I gonna drive to work today? And so, like, if I choose to drive, like, maybe I get in a car accident. If I choose to take the bus, maybe I make a new best friend that, like, you know, turns my whole life around. And, like, so we can choose what path we want and what vibration we want. So, like, obviously, like, if you put all your energy and your attention into, like, okay, well, AI is evil and it's going to turn on us one day and we're going to get blown up and, like, the world's going to end and, like, the world is burning, then that's the path that you're going down. That's the energy and vibration that you're attracting to yourself. And that goes with multiverse theory. Like, you're choosing that dimensional reality.
There's a question I want to ask you about that then, right? So let's say, like, when you say choose the two realities, are you saying, like, individually, so you could branch off into your own reality? Yeah, and that's kind of how I feel. I actually think that I've spent a lot of time thinking about this. I think it makes a lot of sense that, and this sounds so wildly arrogant, and I apologize to the listeners, but I think it empowers you too. I think every single person is entitled to their own reality. And that's what's actually happening. And so like in a weird way, it's like, let's take a weird example. It's like you want to, you know, like you want to be president, right? And it's like, oh, well, there can only be one president. It's like, well, if everyone has their own reality, everybody can be in president. But in your reality, and you're like, oh, I really want to be president, then no one else is going to be president. You know what I mean? Because for that term, right? But so it's the idea that I think it, like, if God was playing itself out as a dream, to me, like every individual consciousness set would be piloting their own reality. And like, yes, we coincide with each other, and us three as conscious beings, like our realities are in phase right now, but at any given moment, I think you can level yourself up and like you can turn on a dime and like totally flip your life around for the better and just totally phase out of that bad reality you're in and phase out into a new one. And there will be a version of you that is left there.
Yep. You're
Right?
choosing which
Yeah,
you're
like-
observing.
Yeah. And you know, maybe things didn't work out for that person or whatever. And it's like, I don't know if that's what's happening, you know, but I do think that we can consciously, you know, have direction in our life kind of in that way. I don't know if we leave a version of ourselves behind. That's kind of like a little cynical. I know it could be that, you know, based off some physics stuff, but like, I'd like to think that like I'm in like a golden timeline now and that like I'm not leaving behind all these negative versions of me. You know what I'm saying? It's painful.
There's been a channeling where, so yeah, if you think of it as like a choose your own adventure, like everything keeps like, I could pick up this gnome right now or I could not. And there's a reality where I did. There's a reality where I didn't. So there's all these multi-dimensions, right? And you're only physically observing one, at least that's what your consciousness is, you know, just putting together. But when you die, apparently all of the yous that experience all the other dimensions just all come back together. And it's like, this was this whole thing. Like you can kind of see like the devlogs of like, okay, it could have gone here, could have gone here, could have gone here. And you get all of the experience from all of the yous from all of the dimensions when you pass on.
And then all of the yous go back to all of the us, right? Which is the next step up, right? And because that's what because really that's where all this is heading is like, you know, because I've really started to believe like God is everything that is. Like if God like is real, I don't think of God as like this person on a throne sitting outside of us, like watching us. Like to me, it would be more like everything that is that, and it's like playing itself out, and like we are, you know, a part and like created in the image, and I feel like we're empowered. And like that was part of the thing with this podcast. I was like, I had that like realization where like there were these moments, these synchronicities were happening so crazy. I'm like, oh, like I'm mentally, you know, I'm like I'm just in this flow state and things are just like coming to me, you know. And I think like some of my greatest successes in life I've just visualized before they happen. And it's like you just steer that.
I like to think everything is in God's brain. So it's God just like imagining things. Like we are God just imagining that we're talking to each other, but really like it's just like, yeah, I'm just gonna make up these characters and just like do.
And the struggle is that everything makes sense from a physics standpoint, and so it allows us to like consciously choose to disconnect it. So like we don't live in a reality that doesn't make sense. Generally speaking, I mean, for those that don't experience supernatural or understand like you know all these other things, like, you know, we're talking about like Neil deGrasse Tyson. Like he's just like, you know, well, we got electrons, you know, and actually the you know the wave function collapse. You know, if we shine a light on it, then that electron collapses a wave function. So like that's actually what happens. So like there's an actual real rule set to how reality happens, and so it gives us the actual opportunity to say, you know, no, we don't live in a consciousness-based reality. We live in a physical reality where, you know, the Big Bang happened, and then like we're super insignificant amongst the greater universe, and like, you know, we don't really have any importance, and it allows us like we're given the free will to see those things, but like the very fact that the universe itself has a very defined rule set of equations and things that like are deterministic in nature, I think gives us the option to opt out of this mindset that we're talking about, and it kind of depowers society, where I feel like people need to take their power back. You know, I don't like to believe in things that take power away from me. So if I believe in a consciousness-based reality, then I took my power back. And like, that's what I really want my audience to feel, is like, I want to empower them and just like, know like, hey, you guys, like, you know, we live in a very like reality where like your thoughts and intents, and it's like, you know, I'm not going to just think something and like it's going to fall in my lap. Like, we have to make conscious decisions and put in the work, and there's all these things. But like, yeah, I don't believe personally in physical based reality. You know, it just strips me of so much power. Quantum physics could say totally otherwise. You know what I mean? Classical physics, yeah, like I shoot a cannonball, this air resistance goes this far, like, you know what I mean? But then like, we've never been able to sync up classical physics and quantum physics. Like they've been trying to find some unifying equation, whether it's string theory, then we go, you know, at 11 dimensions, and then, you know, we go M theory, we go up to 12 dimensions. Like we're literally like splitting our minds in half, trying to get this like classical system where it's like physical based reality, you know, to you know, mend itself with like quantum physics, and they're just struggling to do it. And I'm like, all right, well, on the fundamental level, like the smallest of scale, we run off quantum. Quantum physics is the basis. And then when we scale up, then it's like classical physics. You know what I mean? So it's like, okay, well, what's the real physics? It's quantum physics. You know what I mean? And that's what runs reality. And when I went down that rabbit hole, seemed like consciousness had a hell of a lot to do with it, of what's running shit. You know what I mean?
Well, there's no equation for consciousness. And so we're on the wave function podcast, right? That's the source. The particle is what's observed, right? So physical reality you're talking about, and then you're talking about the wave, right? And so it's like the quantum would be the wave, and it's like you can't merge the two, because what is the merge between the two is consciousness. So there's no equation for consciousness per se. And what empowers us is to know that through our conscious observation, we can see either the wave, which is what Neo saw once he was sort of red-pilled, or we could see the particle, which is the physical reality in which we all observe. So there's no,
you think
there's
that's
no
air you're
equation
breathing?
for consciousness. Right, exactly. And it really, once again, it all comes back to the Matrix, because it laid an analogy for literally everything that we can discuss. And so we will always be that embodiment of that equation, because our conscious observation is exactly the choice between the physical world or the source code from the wave or the particle. And so that's literally it. Like, we are the link, we are the center of all that all. And so my whole grand synopsis to sort of like balance out what I feel like is sort of a spectrum is that this is paradoxical in terms of what we want to experience. We can experience the wave, we can experience the particle. It's up to us to whatever experience. So if we need to find balance, right? So for most of our lives, we are taught that we're this insignificant grain of sand in creation. Well, in order to bring balance, if for a certain time we need to believe that we're the center of the universe and the center of our own realities and the center of creation, and so be it. But the way I see it is like, it's whatever we choose to be, you know, it's whatever experience that we wish to choose, because we, as our conscious observation, can choose anywhere within that spectrum. But through that paradox, all is true and all options are available. And it's like, in the end of the day, just like, what experience do you want to have? And I feel like game theory sort of summarizes that. Like, what do you want to experience? What game do you want to play?
So you just got me thinking of something, which is like, when you listen to a lot of people that are like great at meditation, and I can't speak on the matter because I'm no expert, but you know, I know some, and when I learn about some, they talk about this disconnect where you like kind of become one with everything. So it's like, you can live as the particle, right? But like you could get into a meditated state to the wave.
Yeah.
Where you completely kind of like meditate to a level where you kind of meld into everything with the universe. And then you kind of, I think, can be on that like probabilistic, like, you know, I'm not focusing on like measuring my physical body in the space. Like, I'm trying to supersede that. right? Because ultimately what's really happening is just this informational field, and we can call that like the consciousness of God, right? And then like we are constantly like tapping into things where we're like pulling things to the finite, like this table is here because, you know, we pull it in. And it's like, if you get to that point where you can like consciously let go of that, and then you get up to like the wave function, it's just a thought you put in my head, man. I'm like, damn.
There's levels to the game, and so much of it is stuck in the particle. And when we can realize that the wave is what's behind the particle, and sort of, if we can master ourselves enough to sort of like shift into like through from the wave to the particle as sort of this range of spectrum, like, and hopefully be able to balance in the middle and be almost like that space between the wave and the particle rather than being so stuck in one. And you can also, I think, lose your mind being stuck just as like the wave, as like the ocean of the consciousness that connects us all, right? Because we're here to participate in being in an avatar and being in a character, which is a particle, right? But some of us suffer because we're so stuck in the particle and forget the fucking wave, right?
Well, you know, I feel like by the way, this is the most on brand. Oh my God. This is what this podcast is literally about. Like, and yeah, like, you know, yeah, this is the most on brand thing ever. And I appreciate that. I think that you know, I love how on brand you are with like what I think in your freestyling, I think you're tapping into the wave, bro. Like you bring it out. So it's like, what are our thoughts really? I mean, yeah, there are synaptic, you know, like the acetylcholine goes in the synaptic cleft, gets picked up by the motor end plate, the sodium differential, you know, sarcoplasmic reticulum. Like, yeah, like there are physical things happening, and science can always explain away all the stuff we're talking about, right? But really, there's something so special about decisions and choice. And I think that I would say freestyling has to be a quintessential example of pulling in things from the wave function to the physical because you're thinking ahead on a level. I feel like there's certainly must be some level of detachment where I don't know, man. You feel me?
Yeah.
We've had so many people come up to either me or him or both of us and be like, yo, you dropped a bar about eating a hot dog, and I literally just put like a hot dog in my mouth. Like he does pull from like the reality around him, and he has no clue because sometimes his eyes are freaking closed.
The collective consciousness.
Yeah, and then like it's crazy. Like he'll rap about like choosing to buy a surfboard, and there's a guy that comes up. He's like, "Bro, I was just shopping for a fucking surfboard. Like, what in the did you just do to me? What?"
This happens all the time on the live streams. I'll be just in a zone, and like somebody will be like, "What the fuck, bro? I was literally just about to say that," or "That just happened to me earlier today," or like all these synchronicities, you know? And it's just like so I'm really, really grateful that we brought it back to the freestyling after we're talking about going in the depths of all these rabbit holes with reality and everything, is just because like the freestyle is such like you said, a quintessential example of magic, of like we are literally, and this brings me back to what I was saying in Ron's on the way here, is that the equation that I speak of when I speak on magic is that our attention mixed with our intention makes magic in this dimension, right? So when, say I'm on a live stream, I set the intention to practice to be my best for Harry Mack and to create a co-creative experience where you're going to give me words and I'm going to reflect those words back to you through speech, through the art form of rhyme, right? And your attention that you're giving me, your conscious observation that you're giving me while we're in that space together, all that comes together in that equation to make magic, right? So whenever you're linked in, like you guys are both looking at me right now, but on a live stream, maybe there's an additional 10 people witnessing it through their screen. They're all giving their attention, right? And so I can literally tap in to their consciousness through their attention and pull from the other conscious observations that they have had, right?
I needed
Right,
that, bro.
right,
Yo,
right,
this
right,
is gold, dude.
right.
This is the stuff that I like. I feel like, you know, we could have gotten into the first episode, but we just you know, we're co-creating right now and stuff, and we're like in discovery mode. And honestly, like, dude, these thoughts are like coming to me. Like, I just feel like creative around you, and like we're talking about like physics, and then I'm tying it back into like, you know, how you perceive, and you're like, yeah, I do that, you know, and it's interesting, man. Like, I think, you know, the way we exchange energy with others, and even like, you know, you can feel when like someone's watching you, like I think there's like a CIA thing. You're like, they're like trained like not to look at the back of someone's neck because someone like can pick up on it. And it's like, there's all these things, man, like you know, reading people's vibes and things like that, like all that stuff's so real. And you being able to tap into like a viewer that like you don't see, you know, they might not have typed nothing, but they're watching you. And maybe they're excited, or they got something going on, or they're biting into a hot dog, and you're like, biting into a hot dog, you know?
And here's the beauty of it is like, I do it best without thinking about it, right? But this is where we get into like, we're talking about like psychic spies and stuff, is that like there's levels to the game. You can train yourself to tap into just one of those streams of consciousness, you know, like the psychic spies are born, and it's just like, you know, that's the level that we can get to. Is say I have 12 people observing me in the live stream. If I was a true master, I can just go into Sarah's, and I could like almost like per se see from her viewpoint and tap into everything specific with her. And I think that that's like the level that not only this freestyle game can get to, but that we can get to as just players in this game of life. You know what I mean? And so, I mean, I've been doing a lot of research about psychic spy stuff because it intrigues me, and like the whole MK Ultra and the mind control.
Oh,
and
yeah.
how we got, you know, like,
Well,
yeah, this
the
very
CIA
interesting.
like openly dumped documents this year,
No.
verifying all that. So like, and there's still people that are just like, nah.
Yeah.
It's like they're talking about remote viewing. Like the CIA does this, you know, like remote viewing.
Yes.
And dude, Project Looking Glass, and also like
Wasn't just a Rogan podcast on this? Did we hear the same one?
I
They were
didn't.
just talking about all the newest stuff about remote viewing and all kinds of disclosed documents.
yeah. So when I was a kid, I had a couple remote viewing. It stopped around like probably 18, but like I used to really nod off in class. And I would get to these states where my eyes would be closed and I would be 100% present in my cul-de-sac. Like have you ever had this happen? So like I am like visually seeing my cul-de-sac, like completely. Like I don't have the talent to see things with my eyes closed, really. Like I can conceptually think about them and maybe start to see them, but like for the most part, I see black, right? But I was like, many times when I would get to this nodding off state, but I'd still be awake. I would like physically be somewhere else, and I noticed when I tried to grasp it, it would fade away. And like as I got older, I would let it whatever happen. I could still look around, and I think the longest I ever got was maybe like 20 seconds. But that ability went away, and actually at the time, I was totally clueless. You know, so now like yeah.
Yeah, that's exciting for me, is knowing that the levels that we can take it to. It's like, okay, I can sort of like blank out and let go and surrender in a freestyle and close my eyes, and like maybe I'll get lucky and I'll pick something up. But how cool would it be to like know that you had the superpower to like, okay, Faye's paying attention. She just gave me like, you know, a topic. She's listening to the rap. Like, let's really like F with Faye for a second and like go into like the recap of her day and like say like what she ate for lunch and just like really drop her jaw.
Right now.
Like how mind blowing
They would burn you as a witch.
Take this art form to? Right. Yeah. Yeah. So like to the level of like they wanna hang you on the cross for being the son of God type shit. You know? Right. Anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah, we all have an incredible depth of superpowers that we can activate, and to me that's very exciting. And
Maybe you should rap about that.
yeah, maybe we should. All right, let's do it.
We're gonna take a little bio break. So I'm gonna
Bio break.
cut the fee, and I'll be right back.
So-
All right, we're back from the bio break.
Hey.
And I think we're gonna wrap this one up. We're gonna do some more freestyling. Yeah, man. So I'm thinking, we just mentioned a second ago, maybe doing topics again.
Yeah.
Okay. Dude, I'd love to keep it on brand. I felt like that was the last 20 minutes felt great. We could get some like physics type stuff in it, like wave function.
Mm-hmm.
You killed it on the first episode with that. So like wave function. Let's incorporate particles, consciousness,
Multiverse.
Throw proton in there.
Hey.
I want to hear a proton. Yeah. I love protons. I have such a love for protons.
Next time I'll tell you about teleportation. But not now.
Okay.
That's a teaser.
Yeah. All right.
We can touch on that. I feel like that goes hand in hand with the whole quantum thing, is the potentiality for us to exist in multiple places at once. So you're talking quantum entanglement. So yeah, it's all in alignment.
Oh yeah,
so.
remote viewing too.
Remote viewing. So what I'm hearing is wave, particle, proton, consciousness, remote viewing, multiverse, teleportation. Yeah, I think we got it.
Is that like 7?
Is that too?
No, it's not too much.
All right.
It all goes together. It's all the same thing, right?
Yeah.
Chill. Yeah. Can we turn that up
Yep.
a bit more? Yeah. Yeah. Allow me to use this verse as a symbol of the universe. Allow me to drop this verse to combine this multiverse. Multisyllabics used to make a multiverse. Now we choose which way we're gonna do, which way we wanna go. Choose your rose and adventure, baby. How you gonna flow? I need to run it back. I feel like I need the beat to be a little bit louder. I want to tap in a little bit deeper on this.
Yeah.
Let's run it back. Yeah. Chill. Allow me to use this verse to represent the universe. Allow me to drop this verse as a symbol of the multiverse. Bring it in and let it all disperse. Once again, this is not rehearsed. Is it a gift or curse? Check it, yeah. It's all arranged from particle to wave. I've been riding it for days. This streamline is so amazing. In this ocean of creation, you see, we are all inside this ocean, and then we come together, you see. As the wave, we divide into our own reality. You see the waves above the ocean, now you can see beyond the sea to new horizons. But when it crashes back in, it's arriving in the same consciousness. Now I'm guessing this improvisation is a suggestion that this magic right here inside of this dimension is made by the equation of our attention and our intention, so we can exist in multiple places at once. This is reality. I'm not just making it up. That's what really awaken you up to the realization that you are here and you are there, you are everywhere and you are nowhere at the same time. So really I can go on. I was negative like the electron floating outside. Now I'm positive as a proton. Wait, inside this nucleus for slow, I guess it goes a little deeper than the atom just to leave it all exposed. The gap is infinite until it becomes closed. Well, now we're getting closer. The teleportation is showing us that life in this creation, we can arrange ourselves just to be in multiple places inside of this reality at the same time. And quantum entanglement changing us, realizing once again that we are here and we are there and we are also right here inside of this moment. It's been a light year since I really quantum leaped outside. Now I gotta see where I can arrive at if I activate my superpowers. In this hour I am choosing right now not to let it be my final. Tapping into way more than just survival. This is time for the thriving, time for the activation of who we truly are. Life is your creation, and that's the point that I be making. So in the end, we're all celebrating in this imagination. It's all made up in the mind. It all come back and all rewinds. It's through a cycle. As the rise of the tide comes through, don't be surprised that the sun and the moon just cycle one around to show us to keep our feet on this ground. Now,
Damn, bro.
all right.
Poetic.
Something different. Oh, she got the button on this time.
Yeah.
I love that button.
Wait, what's this
Had to
beat?
press it at least once.
That was incredible.
Ooh, I really like this beat. But I think we want to wrap it up. And
Does Harry Mack do that?
I don't know how
Does he
much
go
Harry
deep?
Mack closes his eyes.
I don't know how
but-
deep he go.
But Harry Mack is, man. Anyways,
That was like spoken word meets freestyling. I don't even.
well, we're talking about like this merging of all these different things, particle and wave. We're merging the spoken word and the freestyle rap. So I like contrast. I feel like contrast is the spice of life. You know, like I do the ice baths and then the sauna.
Yeah.
Right. So like we just did like this really deep poetic one. Let's finish with like a really hype, just like traditional bouncy. It's even called bouncy trap. It's champ. So the thumbnail is this dude in this Eagles jersey. And, you know, it's just so appropriate because we're here in Philly.
Show the hat.
Can I do like MC stuff like skirt?
Oh, 100%.
please.
Yes.
All right.
That's what we
Please.
need.
All
right.
That's what we need.
Let me play with the soundboard for a second.
Yeah.
I think all we got is this. That's like.
Oh, you got that.
Yeah, but that's like if you're whack and like none of
Yeah.
it's stuff.
Whoa.
Maybe.
That's the phase sound effect.
Just all right. We're gonna stick with that one.
Okay.
But I'll try to MC a little bit. You know.
All right. Why don't we, because the beat's short, if we're really feeling it, I'll run it back. But why don't we have maybe Faye throw topics and you'll do the ad libs? I don't know. What do we want to do? Or do we want to line topics up?
I guess I could start you off with some.
Yeah, let's start off because sometimes it's hard to hear you when you're throwing them at me.
Okay.
No, here's how I want to do it. I want to test my memory as much as possible. So I want to get as many words as you want to unload at me, and I'm going to test my memory and see how many I could put in. Throw whatever you want at me.
Boy,
right.
golly. Okay.
And don't make them super deep because this is our more like hype opposite of the last one.
Lunchbox.
Perfect.
Selenite.
Locomotive.
Okay.
Railroad.
Okay.
Potato pancakes.
Okay. Lunchbox, selenite, potato pancakes, locomotive, railroad.
Let's do
Staff.
Okay.
pumpkin.
Okay.
Turbulence.
Okay. Okay.
How's that? Is that like
All right.
8?
Maybe like one more.
We're like looking around.
Yeah, I know. Aunt Jemima.
Aunt Jemima.
Oh.
Okay. So that's 8. So that's definitely a test of my limits. I usually take 6 max, right?
Okay.
So railroad, locomotive, Aunt Jemima, turbulence, potato pancake, lunchbox, selenite. What was the last one?
Staff.
Yes.
Staff. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
Good, because I forgot already.
All right, so I'm testing my memory here. Let's see if
Yeah,
we can
you're
do
the
it.
one that gave it.
I know.
Turn me up. Chill. Yeah. Hey, hit me with it now. One time. Hey. 8 topic freestyle, let's get it in. Let's get it in. Yow. Really, what you want, dog? I'm a champ, yeah, I'm really about to bust off. Going so fast, you can't even touch, y'all. About to eat this beat like a lunchbox. Wait, hold up, actually, I put my lunch in it so you know that I got it secure. Fungi coming out here when I bust the flow, but I ain't effing with the Lunchables, let's get it in. Fungi flowing with these rap words. Put the meat and the cheese with the crackers. I'm about to go and bless the mic. You tell it's tight, I cleanse like a selenite. You know what's up, huh? You can really tell that the guy going back when he spit flows. Gotta get it back striated with the formation when I'm coming to my crystals. Listen, bro, I can break it down if you don't know. Fungi really coming with the dope flow. Off the top, yeah, I really gotta bust. Freestyle flowing is the shit that they love. I just gotta go ahead and do it when I'm coming right back. And you know I gotta go ahead and work with
Right
this.
back.
I be all up on them all of them playing. I be working through the clouds, all of the turbulence. Doesn't matter what you give me now, I'ma go ahead and spit it right up on the crown. Fungi flows when he rhyming this. I bring the lightning in, now that's enlightenment. Swear to God, yeah, I really gotta go. Never fail, bro. I be crazy on tracks. Locomotive on the railroad when I go spit it. Fungi flowing, yeah, you know I gotta get it from the engine to caboose to the bag. Fungi flowing, get a goose on the track. You can't even hear us. I'm a potato pancakes. I put the syrup and Jemima really coming on through. Someone gotta go ahead and put it on the top. Little bit of sweetness, keep it on going, cause you knowing that the flow really just don't stop. Hold up, bring it back one time. Last time, gotta do it from the past time. So you know how I be. Fungi flowing, going crazy on the beat. Closing my eyes, making sure that I hit it. Yeah, everybody out here really with it. You know what it is, gotta come on with my rap. All up out the dome, get the gift to the gab. Feeling like Moses, a part in the sea when I'm flowing. Brother, I'm putting my staff down to the ground when I rap. Hold up, I'm behind me, I got my whole team, that's the staff. Doesn't matter really how you spell it when I bless it. Sick is a staph infection. I could go and double entendre off the top, really doesn't matter what you gon' give. Fungi be flowing this right now, brother. You know I had to go and get a rib for the shit, let's go. Taking a risk when I bust off. Too fast, y'all can't even touch y'all. Yeah, you know what I do when I bless flows. I don't say let's go, I say let's grow. We be getting rid of weakness, peeping the acronym. I break it down when I rap for them. Y'all understand the secret when I'm rapping this. And brothers really see this.
Library.
Really coming back when I rhyme. Swear to God that they all try to spit it. I don't even try various flows. They be lying like a library. I know they be trying to get it all spitting. Fungi coming with the real non-fiction. Y'all know what to do. Come and rap with a blessable. Check me in the Dewey Decibel system. Fungi really gotta get it. Y'all really trying to find me out here. Kinda like I'm ludicrous, trying to hit you in the lunch block. Baby, I'll kick it right here. Yeah, I gotta flex on them. Every time I come around, I'm blessing y'all. Go ahead and really make them drop to the blow.
Metatron's
Six on the
cube.
side like a hexagon. I be coming in the beehive every time I'm blessing it. You know I gotta get it for you. Fungi bringing a sacred geometry. I hear like Metatron's cube. Flower of life and the power of the mic. I just gotta go and hit it with the Sri yantra. Doesn't matter really how you line it up. Your fungi keep it fly. Fucking the vibe is up. Let's go.
Yeah, man. Well, I can't think of better note to end on. Take two with you both. Really appreciate you. So you want to just give your apps and whatnot, and
oh yeah. So thank you once again, homie. It's always a pleasure. I mean, I feel like we've done it twice, but we've also done it 200 times in this infinite universe. At Fungi Flows, at everything, FUNGI, FLOWS. We got music on Spotify, Amazon, iTunes. You know what I mean? All the different socials. Y'all find us TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, wherever the hell you at. Fungi Flows on the map. Here with the beautiful Faye Wildflower. Tell them what it is.
Yeah, that's me. Faye.wildflower, I think, on Instagram and other things. But yeah, I'm Faye. You can find me through him usually. I don't know.
yeah. And if you want to hear my tracks, like I didn't even make an artist name, but for my real one yet. But if you search me on SoundCloud, the track that we rapped to in the beginning was Just and Lee. That's my artist name. Because my name's Justin Lee Anderson. I was just like, I don't even know, man. Like this is like a placeholder, but like the track is Abduction, SoundCloud.com. Yeah, my other beat, it's not even out yet that you were rapping on, but working on some music. And thank you. Remember, you're in control of your own reality, and with that, you empower yourself. So
Hold up. You spell Faye, Fae. I just need to point that out because a lot of people don't know how to spell it. Thank you.
Yes.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Yay.
Take care, everybody.
Much love.
Much love always.
See you, Shroom.